Back in our Fox Sports 2 coverage, you're watching America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We kick off this Friday card with an upset. Mallet Lady crossing the wire first at 7-2, beating the highly regarded first-time starter Beach Life, who winds up last of 3. Let's go downstairs to Maggie.
Pleased to be joined here by owner-breeder Jeff Cohn, who sends out Mallet Lady. And Jeff, I think all of us, from the word go in this race, just knew she was a winner every step of the way. Does that include you?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'm so used to running last that when she was last, I didn't look at the fractions. I just thought, well, I'll still get $10,000 for a third and a breeder's award. But the way it finished is just the dream that every owner has, particularly when you're a breeder. Early in the season, a 2-year-old win. There's not many winners around now, so it's just a fantastic feeling.
As you said, you've been involved in breeding for over 20 years now, and you kind of took a moment before you walked up to this winner's circle to really take it in.
Yes, because I'm not used to coming here, and I didn't even, I'm so overwhelmed right now. I'm sure it's coming off that I don't really know what to say other than I'm so grateful to Mr. McPeak, and I'm getting calls right now from everyone in my family. And it's one of those euphoric feelings that I think even in a beleaguered industry and economy is a reason for people to be involved.
Extremely well said. And as you said, you're involved down to your father. Talk a little bit about, just kind of growing up and your dad inspiring you.
Yeah, my dad used to use an old trainer named William Doc Schmidt, best known for the incredible performance of Father Hogan in one of Forgo's Marlboro Cups or something. And just an old school guy who's actually friends with Alan Jerkins. And I've been coming to the backstretch for 35 years, 50 years. It's one of the most enervating and enjoyable experiences of my life, and it's just wonderful as now I get older to be able to have a hobby like this that is so rewarding on its good days, and today's a good day.
Jeff, it was such an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and massive congratulations.
Thank you very much, Maggie. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. But guys, that's how much it means, especially when you get a homebred to the winner's circle.
I gotta tell you, I would have taken a big price that Father Hogan would get mentioned on this show, and Doc Schmidt, who trained Father Hogan. Father Hogan is sort of not known, but he was third, beaten a length, as he mentioned the Marlboro Cup, in that famous Marlboro Cup when Forgo ran down Honest Pleasure with 137 pounds. Father Hogan was narrowly beaten third. He won the Jim Dandy that year. Andy Byer told me before the meet started, Father Hogan will win the Jim Dandy, and he paid $20 or $21.
Legendary.
Yes.
Race 2, mile and an eighth condition, $20,000 claiming race. We have another short price favorite, Apalta, Linda Rice, Flavian Pratt, dropping in class and getting hammered on the board.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise. On paper, this is going to be a very, very hard horse to beat. Now, they don't run the races on paper. They run them on TV sets, as Greg likes to say, but this is a horse that faced way better horses last time. And in a conditional claiming race, non-winners of 2 lifetime, $30,000, just drowned a field in a race going this mile and eighth distance that would be very tough to beat in here. Big value in the double on this horse, paying over $12 for $1 with a $9 winner.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to look ahead to Saturday, race named after a pretty good one on the grass. Paradise Creek, this was his 6th victory in a row in the Grade 1 Manhattan.
He was the real deal. And to show you how good Lure was in the Breeders' Cup a couple years ago, Lure beat him 5 lengths in the Breeders' Cup mile. His 1994 season, though, was incredible. Now, actually, in Lure's last win, he beat him subsequent to this race in the Bernard Baruch, which was also the last start for 4-star Dave, and he finished third. And Paradise Creek broke his maiden going 7 furlongs by 11 lengths in his turf debut at Belmont right before the start of a meet.
Guess what the comment said?
I know it's a funny comment.
Well, no, he wins by 11 lengths. Keep that handily. Really? Thank you for that.
Yes. Was it his debut or was it his first turf
debut,
race?
yeah.
Yes. We used to run those 7 furlong races late in the year. I mean, Paradise Creek was one of the great American turf horses of my lifetime.
Well, this year's edition, Paradise Creek Saturday card, 4:09 Eastern, race 7, 6 furlongs over the outer turf. And let's look at track tiger Doug O'Neill coming in from the West Coast with this speedster who's been running down the hill on the turf.
I mean, this is, and we're really hopeful that the rain won't get that hard until later tomorrow, so we'll be able to run this race on the grass because it's an absolutely sensational race on the turf. And I think he's a player along with a lot of horses in this race. This race to me seems to be wide open.
This horse is fast early. Comes in sharp form, and yeah, for Doug O'Neill to make the trip. Obviously
He was in
player.
the John Shear last time, right? And of course, John Shear was the man who was in the paddock at Santa Anita, right? Didn't he save a kid once when the horse got loose? The older man who worked in the paddock at Santa Anita.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a sort of well-known story.
Okay.
Yes.
As for the trainer we talked about going to break, that is Miguel Clement, off to an incredible start here at the meet. With more on this Paradise Creek, he'll send out Intricate Spirit. Let's go to Maggie.
That's right, and thanks to his lovely wife and our good friend and colleague here, Geisha Clement, did say that if this race were to come off the turf, they are hoping to run this Son of Complexity on the main track for the first time. Now, it is predominantly a turf pedigree on the bottom side, as he is a half-brother to Spirit Prince, but there was another sibling who did win on the dirt. Now, looking at Intricate Spirit, this is going back to his effort on October 3rd in the Futurity, so he's already a Greatest Stakes winner. Now, his effort coming back at Keeneland, it was a bit of a troubled trip, to say the least, so I feel like he could get a redo here. And furthermore, getting back out to the 6 furlongs, I know it's splitting hairs between 5.5 and 6, but I feel like in turf sprints it does make a bit of a difference. I don't think they run quite as flat out going the 6, and 2, it kind of allows him to find his stride a little bit more. I was always a fan of this guy going back to last year as a 2-year-old. Very good looking horse, much like his half brother in Spirit Prince. I just always thought that maybe he was a little bit better, so I'm taking the positive approach with this guy and hoping that he can get back to some of his winning ways, back at a track and a distance that he has shown, at least as a juvenile, to be successful at. So looking forward to Intricate Spirit getting back here to the Big A tomorrow in the Paradise Creek, Greg.
Yeah, we're just taking a peek at, looking forward to this race. We'll be on for live coverage. He's an interesting runner. Track Tiger, I'm very intrigued to see. It was chasing Freedom.
I like
speed inside.
I think I picked the 8, Twilight Delight. My picks are up on the website, but yeah, interesting horse. This is a wide open race. I really hope we can be able to keep this race on the grass.
Manny Franco, yes, scheduled to ride Intricate Spirit. We'll see plenty of Manny this afternoon as well. All kinds of momentum heading into summer and Belmont at Saratoga for one of the top riders on the circuit. Stay with us. Just getting started on our Friday coverage.
The classic sire.
Play the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. New members get a $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. Bet the third leg of racing's Triple Crown from historic Saratoga Racecourse. Download the Naira Bets app now to play any track, anywhere, anytime. The official wagering partner of the Belmont Stakes is Naira Bets. Sign up now and use promo code BELMONT25 to claim your $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Drain the clock, Jackie's Warrior, drain the clock by a head.
1,000,001, dividend 1,000,001, 1,100,000, dividend 75,700. Mike 700,000, 70, 570,000. Thank you.
Monmouth Park's summer season rolls on with live racing action every weekend with a $12.50 first post. Play the win early and late 50-cent pick fives, boasting a low 15% takeout. Plus, play our new $3 all-turf pick 3, $3 late pick 3, and $5 late double, all with the same player-friendly 15% takeout. Get in on the action at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
He looked like a horse that breeders would love. He's just a perfect silhouette of a horse.
Citizen Bull, his speed is his weapon.
Citizen Bull in gate-to-wire fashion.
When the real running starts,
And he kicks away.
you need that brilliance. You need that speed to carry you on.
Citizen Bull to win.
To me, the best sires are the miler. I want a sire that's a miler.
Citizen Bull leads them all the way.
He's a colt with every single ingredient you want in a stallion prospect.
And they're homeward bound. And here comes Iron Honor on the outside. Chip Poncho right there. Taj Mahal continues to battle down to the inside. A gap of 5 lengths back. Oselli is trying to pick up. Incredible's way out of the middle of the track with a lot to do. Napoleon Solo. Napoleon Solo is the leader from Iron Honor in Preakness 151. And Napoleon Solo bounding with Paco Lopez to the line. It's a 2.5 length lead. Napoleon Solo.
As selected by Andy Serling. Nice call. You actually had this exacta cold. What a performance by this horse. And can't wait to see what he does next.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about going to Haskell, and I think they'll go decide from there whether or not he's a Travers-type horse or they cut back to the Alan Jerkins. Regardless, he now has 2 Grade 1 wins, including a Preakness, a Triple Crown race. He was a $40,000 yearling. He made his debut in one of those restricted races up in Saratoga, and he's just done really well. And the key to him before this race, and something we talked about before the race, he finally was working. You know, after missing workouts and, you know, sort of being short for these races he was going into, he was finally coming to a race, as they say, the right way. And listen, you can say what you want about the other horses in the race, but his Champagne last year was probably the best 2-year-old performance we saw all year.
Still probably better than most of the top 3-year-olds' performances this year.
It was a huge effort. And, you know, whether or not he's ultimately, of course, going to exceed, you know, going to be exceptional going longer or shorter remains to be seen. This horse has already got 2 huge wins in his resume, and he retires now. He's got a lot of value.
Race 4 here at Laurel, 5.5 furlongs. It's a lower level $12,000 maiden claiming event. Everyone trying to get that first win. The 1-2 favorite moving to the Jamie Ness barn. This one just claimed for $20,000 last start, and the immediate drop down to a lower level.
Jamie Ness off the claim with maidens and dirt sprints. He's 10 for 32, 31%, but only a $1.42 ROI. And you're looking at a 1-2 shot. The stats aren't particularly exceptional for this horse. Now, you just don't have anybody in here that's run particularly well. Though, to be fair, Oshwi on the rail. The first race this horse ran a 43 buyer, which is fast enough to compete with the recent races for Hyella. I guess the 5, she's a canny lass, is a bit of a wild card trying the dirt for the first time. We'll see. And you've got a Jimmy Chapman, first-time star on the outside, the 7-horse Gazelle, who's taking some money, and we don't see him start too many horses. And, of course, he's sort of known to have bought a lot of horses with some pedigree that sold very cheaply at yearling sales, and occasionally he's found a diamond in the rough. This one has some pedigree.
Back to the 3-5 favorite. That last start's got to leave a pretty bad taste in your mouth, doesn't it?
I agree. I mean, this horse's first 2 races are good enough to win here. That was a long time ago for Riley Mott. Now, we've seen Jamie Ness pull off, improve horse off the claim, but I don't know if this horse has to win the race, and I'm curious to see what the first-er Gazelle does towards the outside.
Yeah, that's the 7, the Ghost Zapper debuter.
There's just really not a lot of form to go on in this race, and that's being kind. The 4 obviously can't win, but the 5 is a wild card. Who knows? Maybe that horse can run a little bit on the dirt.
94-1 in the debut. You can always forgive a debut.
He's taking a lot of money based on that. He's 10th the price today.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, the 2 will probably win this race, but it's not the world's greatest gamble. And this horse's last 2 races, won them on a sealed wet track. That good sealed track on March 12th was probably in worse shape than the track they're running on at Laurel today. They've got it. The PPs are sacred. If the track is sloppy, list it as sloppy. Don't do that to the public. It's not right. You have an obligation.
Dave Rodman with the call, 2-5 favorite. Hyla, first in the barn, Jamie Ness just claimed for 20, now drops in for 12.5. Yedsit Hazelwood, the star apprentice in the irons. Here's the 4th from Laurel.
Gossel. Gosel steps up. The Rizzler's Girl with Thais Lapastina. Isla's 2-5. And they're off. Naomi and Ruth, the Rizzler's Girl, hustled up on the outside. Hyla, the favorite right there. Three-way mix-up on the pace together. Ashwee on the chase on that rail. They're followed by She's a Canny Lass, and Gosel is last of them all, heading off at the far turn. Well back now as Gosel got to be 15 lengths off the pace. Naomi and Ruth, and Hyla down to the inside. Hyla, Naomi and Ruth, dual right together. A gap of 5. Ashwee try to pick up from third, and the Rizzler's Girl back in fourth. Then She's a Canny Lass, even paced as they approach the 5/16 pole, and Gosel is the trailer. Naomi and Ruth from Hyla. Naomi and Ruth getting away from Hyla, ridden along for more at the quarter pole. Naomi and Ruth turns in by 2. Hyla tips to the outside to try to re-engage. Another 5 lengths back. Ashwee's off the inside in third. Furlong to have to run, and it's Naomi and Ruth Angel Cruz outside Hyla. Yedzet Hazelwood of the favorite and try to make inroads late under a drive. It's Naomi and Ruth just holding a length and a half or 2 in front as they're close to home. Naomi and Ruth. Naomi and Ruth from Hyla to win about a length and a quarter. She's a Canny Lass picks up third. Ashwee fourth.
Veering out in the stretch, but still able to get the job done. Naomi and Ruth, 13-1 upset.
I mean, I don't know if this horse was not an underlay at 13-1 going into this race, but got the money here. Wow. Hard to see this one. Just ran a wet slop on a muddy sealed track. Or was in a race on a muddy sealed track. I don't know if ran is the word I would use. Wow.
4-2-5 finish, beating a 1-5 favorite, 13-1. We haven't even, well, same favorite coming up here. We have a 1-5 favorite here. Belmont of the Big A as well. The 3 we'll get to. We start with Airborne Elite, Wayne Potts' barn.
Wayne Potts trying to win his first race in New York since early January with a horse that has some credentials but doesn't seem able to win.
I thought this too was interesting, Grand Commander.
I agree. I picked this horse second off the claim for the Cantor Mossies. I think this horse is very dangerous as an outsider. I don't think the pace trick of this horse last early. I don't think that'll be the case.
Here's the heavy favorite with Pratt, Apulta.
I mean, if this horse runs back to the dirt races, is probably too good for these. 1-5's a little bit much, but is way the horse to beat.
Over a year away. Here's Petrolo.
Yeah, now listen, Petrolo has some of the best race of anybody. It could also be forward and be the speed in this race with Delilah, but it's been a long time to go a mile and 1/8.
Biggest price on the board, that is Jimmy Ferraro's Natural Hunk.
Yeah, this horse is the last time was the time horse, would have to get much faster in all likelihood to compete here.
From Mike Maker to Fernando Abreu, and just claimed now by Steven Schauer, who has a knack for moving horses up.
2 for 7 off the claim with Dirt Routers, $1.73 ROI, 5 hitting the board. This horse's last race was atrocious, but maybe Steve can get him back to his better races, which would make him very tough.
And Chipsacial, that last race, it was very good. It was on a muddy sealed track.
And he was third in the Tampa Bay Derby way back in his career. Now, whether or not he really wants a mile and 1/8 remains to be seen. Has not won a race since October of his 2-year-old year, nearly 5 years ago.
So 3-5 favorite. This guy doesn't help your price. Flavian Pratt. Let's go 2 back to the win at this distance of a mile and 1/8.
You know, listen, this is a heavy, heavy favorite. You don't need to spend a lot of time explaining to me why this horse is going to win. And at the end of the day, I think that if he's able to run his good race like he did here, he's going to be very, very hard to beat unless somebody steps forward. In his effort 2 back, which was a similar condition, $30,000 claiming level, now was a 2 lifetime. These are 3 lifetime 20s. He ran a race right here, winning by 3.5 with a 78 Fire, which only the 6 can really compete with if he can find form from going back, which I suppose is possible. If he shows up, he's going to be very hard to beat.
He's a multiple winner at a mile and 1/8. 3-5 on Apulta. Let's go to Maggie.
Yeah, Apolta, I get why he's the horse to beat. I have no complaints. And on top of all that, he feels like the horse that is most competitive at this 9 furlong distance, where we actually have several horses trying the 2 turns for the first time. One of them, however, is not the layoff runner, and that is number 4 in here, Petrolo, for Jimmy Bond. Now, he is a big lumbering type, so obviously this is the right spot for him to come back in, and I think they're being realistic here off the long layoff, coming back for the 20. He looks okay. He looks very healthy, and he has great energy. He is a forward type, so you like to see that. But just kind of his hind end through his flank, he looks a bit weak across the top line of it, and just looks as though he's a bit heavy through, his barrel and, like I said, into his flank. So I feel like a race is really going to move this horse up, and he is a big price on the board. So don't let me talk you off of him if you like him, but I just think, today is not necessarily the day that he's going to strike, as we'll move on to 2 horses that come out of the same race, and both of which are new acquisitions, as we'll take a look here at number 2, Grand Commander. Sorry, it's not the same race. He comes out of the First Trumpet win, who First Trumpet, I think, was much the best that day, despite being second choice, and Grand Commander, he just got completely run off his feet. They went pretty quick, and I agree with Andy that we're going to see this horse for the first time going around the 2 turns on the dirt be forwardly placed in here. Now, he's not built like your typical 2-turn type. He's actually a little bit more compact and really quite built downhill, but I feel like the biggest disadvantage with him when you're going the 1-turn configuration is that he gets run off his feet a little bit. So perhaps this allows him to get in his rhythm, get in his stride a bit more easily and find his rhythm, because you look 2 back when it was a slow pace going a mile, and he was right on top of it, and it resulted in a win. So I think that's the thinking that we see from Ilkay Cantermasi first off the claim. He looks good. He looked good last time, and we'll see if that carries through here. I'm going to give my guy Bourbon Chase another try here. I admit I've liked him, and he has not run well. But maybe, I don't know what his excuse was 2 back. Tougher field, I suppose. Last time, maybe it was the wet track. He's run okay on wet tracks in the past, but he was bad. He was really bad. He is moving exceptionally well today as he comes first off the claim here for Steve Schauer. Those front wraps do go on for the first time, but I feel like, too, the 9 furlongs is a distance where he has shown that he can be competitive at, especially at this level, kind of staying where he claimed him out of. So I'm going to try with him one more time, Greg, maybe to wake him up here with the new connections.
See how it plays out. This barn, again, with the 6 Bourbon Chase. Limited starters, got into the game a few years ago as a trainer, and he has moved horses forward. He's had very good success.
He has back form, this horse. His recent form stinks, but if he has back form, that could definitely win here.
2-5 on Apolta for Linda Rice, with 2-time reigning Eclipse Award-winning rider Flavien Prat. So we kick off this early pick 4 on our Friday card from Belmont at the Big A. Let's go upstairs. Chris Griffin, the call.
Bourbon Chase, Shipsational to the outside. Goes in, all set. And they're off. Bit of a bobble for Petrolo shortly after the start. Shipsational's got early speed, and so does Airborne Elite the Gray at the rail, and Airborne Elite will hold the rail is up by a half length. Shipsational is going to stalk from second just behind them. Recovering after the bobble after the start is Petrolo, who's now a close-up third, 3 wide. Tight hold, Grand Commander Manny Franco, patiently ridden towards the outside, wants to do more, is held in that 4th position, and out wider center of the racetrack, that's Bourbon Chase. Race favorite Apolta is trying to make up some ground now, as at the back end of the leading group, and the Triller, Natural Hunk, 24.76 the opening quarter mile. Airborne Elite is the leader. Airborne Elite with a head advantage, Shipsational to the outside. Petrolo within range still is out in the center of the racetrack here, 3 wide and third. Patiently ridden still at the rail is Grand Commander. Apolta starts to pick things up for Flavien Prat, is now moving towards the inside here of Bourbon Chase and the Triller, Natural Hunk. 50.02, the half-mile time, and Airborne Elite is still there. Shipsational is ready to get the cue now, 2 wide, and here comes Shipsational calling for the lead. Petrolo is now about to challenge and take second. All in there is Grand Commander, who's trying to find more. Palta really got to pick it up from there, is back there in 6th, and now starts to build some momentum there with Bourbon Chase and the Triller, Natural Hunk. They reach the top of the stretch, and Shipsational's got the lead. Shipsational trying to run away from the field. Petrolo's just slowly making up ground, and now Apalta starts to warm to the task and has a furlong left to catch. Shipsational, who's in front. Apalta starts to catch with every single stride. Shipsational with the 16th left to go, still with a nose advantage. Apalta trying to push by. Shipsational back to second. Apalta up in time. Shipsational second, then Petrolo, and a late run. Natural Hunk.
Apalta getting by Shipsational to kick off this early pick 4. That's so at 2-5.
And I'll tell you, anxious moments for this 2-5 shot. First of all, had some trouble to start. Will get squeezed out a little bit. It felt like it was a bit him, but it also might have been the 4 coming over. The 5, no, the 2 pushed him out, actually pushing him out, and then really was more that horse than anything else. Now, he's a deep closer, so it didn't really affect him that badly from a positional standpoint, but it made it a little tough for a 2-5 shot, and poor Shipsational. Almost getting the job done. Hasn't won since October of 2021. Think about that for a second. And this horse that runs
so
80
much
buyers,
promise.
70 buyers. He ran second in the Tampa Bay Derby to Classic Causeway. He ran third in the third in the Tampa Bay Derby, second to Sam Davis. Eddie Barker. This is a good horse. He won. His last win was the Sleepy Hollow against New York breds. This is a really good horse, the poor thing. He just couldn't get it done here today. Run down by the 2-5 shot, who may have been best, but it's still a tough beat for Shipsational. He's such a cool horse.
3-7, 4-5 finish. Here's the New York bred, but he's about to get run down. Palta coming to get him here after, getting squeezed and pushed to the back early out of the gate. Does not matter. Too good for this group under Pratt for Linda Rice, who owns this one as well and wins for the 3rd time in 9 career starts. 2 of the last 3 starts have been victories for Apalta. Prices when we come back. Gearing up for not just a tremendous 3rd and final leg of the Triple Crown, Belmont at Saratoga week, superstars all week long, including the Pride of New Jersey, Bookham Dano, looking to come back as well in the sprint division. Back with you on our Friday coverage on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races. That's where you can play it all. Naira bets, bet any track, anywhere, anytime, including all week long. Belmont at Saratoga week and beyond. Flavien Prat, rough beginning. In the end, did not matter. Picks up the win for Linda Rice on a Polta.
And Bob was saying, is it John Bound, the high school? Looked like the Flavien Prat fan club in the winner's circle. A lot of young kids for their school, which was kind of cool. And this horse did not win like a 2 to 5 shot should. Had some trouble in there and was able to grind it out versus poor Shipsational, who just can't seem to win and ran too well to lose in this race as they beat the rest of the field by a city block.
Yeah, we're fans of him, have been for a long time, but unfortunately comes up a little bit short here.
He's the dirt equivalent to Shakespeare Shalaya, who was won the Pilgrim as a 2-year-old and didn't win another race for 5 years.
Yeah, maybe we can get a shot of that winner's circle. I'm not sure if we can, but yeah, John Bound High School, that's in Queens, New York. Good to have the youngsters out here.
That was awesome. Loved that, yeah. That was very cool.
Race 3, 18 minutes away. Mile on the turf, $50,000 claiming race, 8 to 5, notable exchange for the Mike Deeney barn has Junior Alvarado aboard. And here's what Flavien got to enter the winner's circle too.
Love that. Future fans right there. Come back anytime.
In Flushing, Queens. Good to have them out here.
Yeah.
Hope they enjoy the rest of the day. Picked a good day to come, yeah.
For sure.
Sun's shining, gorgeous afternoon. And they get a day off from school, too.
They should be in school.
But getting a racetrack education.
I would know. You know, fortunately, the tracks didn't run in the afternoon when I was in high school, though I found ways to be betting during the day.
You would have not attended school, right?
I don't want to say that, but it's not an impossibility.
We're going to take a timeout after we talk about Bookham Dano.
Always happy to talk about.
Serious question, though, for you. We're going to see him come back. Belmont at Saratoga week. True North is what he's pointing to. He obviously ended the year on a big note with a 4-go, but his figure went down quite a bit.
It did.
His comeback effort, how do you take it?
Well, point to him. I know he didn't run well in that stake where they ran him at Churchill, but he was pretty good. You know, I don't want to criticize him on this. He ran 100 Beyer. I think when he came back last year, he ran a race at Colonial and got a 96 Beyer or something, a 96 Beyer. And then he ran very well, even though he finished 4th in the Churchill Downs handicap. He's too good to be to dismiss at this point. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool to think of him meeting up with the runner-up for the Eclipse Award for Champion Sprinter last year, Ben Tornado. So that's a pretty exciting matchup potentially up in the True North in Saratoga.
No doubt. We'd look forward to that. There's going to be so many stars in all these races all week long. Belmont at Saratoga week, and he has been one of the great stories really in our sport the last couple of years.
And I feel like you and I were there at the beginning when he won the Futurity off the turf, when he sort of showed that he wasn't just a talented New Jersey bred to run against lesser horses. He indicated with a race like that and his other races, he was a real huge talent. And they ended up, I mean, it's arguably the best race he ever ran. He lost when he got beat at the wire by Forever Young in the Saudi, going a mile in the Saudi Cup or the Saudi Derby. I mean, in retrospect, an unbelievable performance when you think about it, considering Forever Young is really arguably one of the best horses in the world over the last years. Not arguably, is one of the best horses in the world.
Guess who was 6 lengths behind him that day?
Wow. Who? Miguel Clement.
Ben Tornado.
Oh, Ben Tornado was in there?
I didn't realize that until I just looked at it.
The Clement horse ran in the UAE Derby. Holy cow, I did not know that.
I didn't either. Belmont Stakes Racing Festival Stakes schedule. Saturday, it's going to be a big one. But all week long, tremendous stars. You don't want to miss it. If you can't be there, we'll have coverage all week long on Fox Sports.
You'll be shocked to hear I'm already trying to look at the early weather forecast, even though they mean next to nothing. And so far, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is all that's out, and they're saying good. But that can change, but let's hope we have a beautiful week up there.
Yes. We've been blessed the last couple of,
last year was a little bit iffy at times.
We're going to remember New York's first championships when we come back. The 1985 Breeders' Cup as we say our final goodbyes to New York City's racetrack.
A reputation of excellence isn't built overnight. Day by day, year by year, decade after decade, For over 100 years, Claiborne's commitment to quality has led to unrivaled success. Building on the past, building for the future. Claiborne Farm. The tradition continues.
.44 for that hot half-mile time, and now Solitude Dude is down to business.
And another terrific display from Queen Maxima. And a very special performance indeed out of El Potente.
Crude Velocity, a sharp 3-length winner of the Pate Mile.
Announcing the Empire Trillium Series, a multi-year $3.2 million 14-race program at the brand-new Belmont Park and Woodbine Racetrack, restricted to New York or Canadian foaled horses. This new event kicks off the day after Christmas with 4 two-year-old stakes races on Belmont's new Tapeta surface and continues all spring and summer through late July at Woodbine. The Empire Trillium Series. To learn more and enroll either New York or Canadian breds, go to NYRA.com/EMPTRI.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
As we continue celebrating the Big A, we turn back the clock to a day when the spotlight of the racing world shined on Queens. In 1985, the Breeders' Cup brought championship racing and a host of memorable races to Aqueduct Racetrack. In just the second Breeders' Cup ever, 42,000 fans witnessed 7 races and the best horses from around the world. The juvenile fillies led off the card with Twilight Ridge for Hall of Fame trainer Dwayne Lucas. And the juvenile Tasso nosed out Stormcat with Lafitte Pinkai aboard for Neil Drysdale. Chris McCarron guided the multi-talented Hall of Famer precisionist to a score in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
What a finish! Here comes Precisionist to snatch the victory in the final strides.
In the mile, the brilliant Gray Cozine helped secure his Eclipse Award as champion turf horse.
Cozine powers up now to take the lead, and it's going to be Cozine to win it, and a flawless ride by a jubilant Walter Guerra.
The turf marked the first win in the Breeders' Cup for a British-trained horse when the 4-year-old filly Pebbles bested Strawberry Road.
Pebbles is game and determined. Strawberry Road driving hard. They're running out of ground. England Super Filly. Pebbles has won it.
Life's Magic added another championship moment, capturing the distaff.
Life's Magic has left the field behind in the wake of a devastating performance.
And the $3 million Classic, the richest race in the world at the time, Proud Truth surged to victory for trainer John Veach.
Proud Truth ahead, Gate Dancer, those two a driving finish. Proud Truth has won it.
For one spectacular autumn day, the championships of racing belong to the Big A, and the 1985 Breeders' Cup remains one of the most memorable moments in the rich history of Aqueduct.
Incredible place here, New York City's racetrack. It had a great run, obviously modernizing the sport, which the entire sport should be excited about. We are. but it's going to be sad to see the Big A go.
No, I mean, an amazing day of racing. I think my favorite horse of that day was Precisionist, who was able to win the Breeders' Cup Sprint at 6 furlongs, but he could win Grade 1s going a mile and an eighth. He was in the Breeders' Cup Classic actually the next year at a mile and a quarter, where I think he finished third behind Skywalker and Turkoman. Precisionist was an all-time great horse. Tremendous horse, owned by the legendary Fred Hooper stable.
We're 9 minutes away, race 3. It is a mile on the turf, $50,000 claiming race. 9-5 favorite, Notable Exchange. Let's go down to Maggie.
Yeah, we'll start by talking about one of 2 Derek Ryan horses, actually, as he sends out bookends of this field, beginning with number 1, though, that is Still Thinking of You. Now, her last appearance on the racetrack was at Tampa, and it resulted in a win in which she was able to beat 2 next time out winners, including Mrs. Katz, who she'll also take on in here, and Dynamic Actress, who actually came back and won with a 77 in her subsequent start. And Still Thinking of You, she went forward from that outside post. She kind of settled just off the pace. She had not a really wide trip, but lost more ground than some others. And, you know, she took the lead at the quarter pole, and I just thought she was best that day. So looking at her here in the paddock, and she is one that I've seen before, actually, nearly a year ago when she ran at Monmouth, and I was down there covering the races. She did win that allowance race. And Derek Ryan had told me she is a horse that does suffer a bit from heat stroke. As you see, she's gotten a little warm here. It's not that warm today. So in one way, it's good because she is a horse that, you know, will overheat herself, and it's got a nice breeze here. We don't love the fact that she comes back here off a little bit of a break and has gotten a bit washy as well. So also a horse on the positive end of the spectrum, she has gotten stronger behind, at least, Greg. So maybe she, as her form suggests, is heading in the right direction.
Well, that last start was a big move in the right direction as well. Right now, 5-2, second choice on the board as we get you back to Laurel. Loading for race 5. Off the turf here in the 5th.
I agree with the 2-1. I mean, the 4 at 2-1. I mean, maybe the Brittany Russell first or the 7. His name I'm not going to try to pronounce, but either the 4 Hurrah, based on the one race in the dirt, should be the favorite.
You didn't watch Game of Thrones?
I did not. I'm the only person.
Daenerys.
That is a character?
Yes.
I need to watch it, right? Everyone I know and like loves that show.
I'm going to watch it again. Hurrah. I'm with you, the 4.
Should be 6-5 in here, win or lose.
I agree. Dave Rodman, the call. Here's race 5 from Laurel.
Butler Road. Waiting on number 9, Espresso Mar. Reared up, riders off. Gene Bracino has just run off there. Espresso Mar, unseated her jockey. Stand by.
Well, we have a loose horse. We saw the 9 rear up and throw Jean Bracino, who appears to be okay. He's up and walking, but now that horse is loose, so we'll have a delay as we get you back to Belmont at the Big A.
All right, what are we doing here, Greg? The key, the weird thing about this race is there is really like no speed in here, is there? Seems like a totally void of speed. And somebody, whether it's Junior on the 3 or it's Santana on the 5, could take advantage of that and have a huge advantage.
Yeah, I would. Probably the 5, right? Trying to make a case for the 1 to be forward, but more likely the 5, I would think. Here's the 1, Still Thinking of You, who Maggie had touched on for Derek Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, here's a stat for Derek Ryan, who has 2 in
Trainer
here.
of Book 'em Dano,
he
by the way.
is 3 for 23 on the turf in New York over the last 5 years. 2 of those 3 paid over $100. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Notable Exchange, 9-5 favorite.
I thought the best races by this one were the best races in the field, and put them on top, and guess that's why she's favored.
Just had another horse rear up the 4 at Laurel and throw their rider. Patty Cakes, 8-1.
She has been facing some tougher company in her races, even though she ran okay, and she has some back turf races, so I guess she's not impossible.
Not a bad 5-year-old debut. Seated at the table with a win at Gulfstream.
Great year last year for Phil Antonacci, and we'll see if this one can continue coming up off a win at Gulfstream.
And Mrs. Katz, Derek Ryan, as well, inside and outside here. He's got Kendrick Carmouche.
But what worries me with this one is a complete lack of speed. Can Kendrick somehow get this horse more engaged?
So just quickly, the 9 out at Laurel. Keep you posted there as we take a look here at Notable Exchange. So 9-5 on the board here. 1 for 15 on the turf with 6 runner-ups. But coming out of some tough spots.
Yeah, you look at this race, right? And I mean, I know the 1's coming off a win at Tampa, the 5's coming off a win at Gulfstream. There's nobody in this race, though, that jumps off the page that's screaming, I'm the horse to beat, right? I mean, they all just sort of have a reasonably similar look in here. I'm hoping Junior can be close with Notable Exchange, and I feel like overall she's the one that's faced the best horses in here in her turf races. And if she could get back to that second at Saratoga behind Griseld, who's a heavily bet European coming in for Chad Brown, I thought she'd probably get the job done. But it's a very hard race, I think, to have a strong opinion, because I find it's hard enough to try to be right when you're trying to figure out how a race is going to be run. But this is a tough race to see how it's run, because I think the rider on the 3, 4, and 5 that's most aggressive will probably have the best tactical advantage. Now, whether or not that means a win remains to be seen, but I think could really help any of those horses' chances.
Well, look, seat at the table is your favorite right now, by the way. The 5 has become the 6-5 top choice. Was right there with Notable Exchange when they met at Colonial last summer. Good comeback effort, April 12th, Gulfstream. 4 for 9 on the lawn overall. And you mentioned a barn that, I guess really it was last year. We all sort of started to take notice of Phil Antonacci.
Well, I mean, how could you miss it? You're getting hit over the head by a 2x4. I mean, his horses were running great here last year. It'll be interesting to see. You know, the worst thing about success as the racetrack is it's hard to live up to. I don't care who you are.
But a name, yeah, that talking about an arrival. And it came at Saratoga. Here's Phil Antonacci's seat at the table, 6-5. Let's go back to Maggie.
I like that name as well. I think Jen Antonucci, when she won the Belmont Stakes, becoming the first female trainer to win a Triple Crown race, said, you don't have a seat at the table, make yourself your own table. As I really like this filly here. I don't love the fact that she's gone over to favoritism. Excuse me, she's a mare now. But she just looks best too. And as you guys were mentioning, I think she has a pace advantage here. You know that Ricardo Santana is going to be aggressive, and a lot of Phil's success in New York came with Ricardo riding his horses. So I really liked her effort last time out at Gulfstream Park, in which I believe she was so much the best that day. And on top of that, she does have some go-back races to lean upon as well for previous connections. So she just looks as though she's thriving right now. She looks incredibly confident, so healthy. She's moving really, really nicely out there. So I'm all in on seat at the table. Now, Derek Ryan's other horse, Mrs. Katz, I actually got to see her when I was down at Tampa in January, and I think she looks a lot better. At least she's acting a lot better too. She was really wound up that day. She didn't warm up particularly well either, and she's so settled here in the prelims here at the Big A, and moving better too. Very healthy, but I just don't think she's quite as good as your 2 favorites in here. So doing better, but I don't think that's going to result in a win over some tougher rivals. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Pick 6 starts here. Mile on the turf in this spot. Late pick 5, next leg, obviously. 7 furlongs, main track. We're going to catch this race at Laurel. Late scratch of that 9, who did get loose. The favorite, the 7 at 6-5. Daenerys, main track only. First-time starter, Dave Rodman, the call.
And they're off. Butler Road, hurrah, has early zip. So too Natty's Boss with that early speed as well. And Natty's Boss going to go on just ahead in front from Hurrah down to the inside. Butler Road after the sharp break is on the chase from third. Belle of Liberty's next. And Daenerys is trailing the field. Daenerys still only about 7 from the front, trying to unwind from the back. Into the far turn they roll. Natty's Boss by some 3 lengths. Hurrah going to track intently from second as 3 furlongs remain. Then to the outside, here's Daenerys trying to get underway. lane. Just try to pass Butler Road now. Butler Road back to fourth, then Belle of Liberty. A race to the top of the stretch. Hurrah takes the lead with ease. Natty's Boss under pressure to stay on. Daenerys now the main danger, who's in between horses. Out wide is Hurrah into the stretch. Hurrah turns in at the 3/16 pole. A 3-length lead from Daenerys on the chase and trying to gain ground. They're both driving a furlong left to go. Hurrah! Hurrah in Toledo by 3 from Daenerys. Stuck at an even pace with the 16th to run. Hurrah! Hurrah splashing clear from Daenerys. And then it was Belle of Liberty and Butler Road.
Hurrah, second time out, 8-5 does not go off your favorite.
It looked like a winner every step of the way. The first two ran reasonably well, making up that ground, but the horse who we felt should have been favored.
Indeed. Well clear for the win. And start number 2 for Catherine Voss. We go back to Belmont of the Big A. Pick 6 starts here. Even money on seat at the table.
I don't know how anybody's even money in this race. I took the 3 notable exchange, who I think is fair price at 2-1.
Chris Griffin to kick off this pick 6 on the Friday card on our Fox Sports 2 coverage.
Mrs. Katz. Last to load. Mrs. Katz. All set. And they're off. Hard sent from the inside is Still Thinking of You. Wants to be forwardly placed and now is. In between horses, Notable Exchange. And 3 wide, Seat at the Table. The 2 trailers, Patty Cakes with Mrs. Katz. They're chasing Still Thinking of You. And Jose Lezcano front running. Goes into that turn, is up by, call it a half length now, is Seat at the Table. Is now going to be in behind horses there. Starts to move up, is now a clear second. At the rail, that's going to be Notable Exchange. Then Mrs. Katz is loping along there in 4th. And the trailer, Patty Cakes, 24 and 4 for the opening quarter mile. Still Thinking of You is tugging there towards the inside. Seat at the Table. Perfect position. Ricardo Santana Jr. is stalking second. They are now a length and a half, almost 2, in front of Notable Exchange. And Junior Alvarado is alone in 3rd. No move yet from Mrs. Katz, is second to last. And the trailer continues to be Patty Cakes. 50.41 for that half-mile time. Still Thinking of You. We'll take him into the far turn. Seat at the Table is ranging up now, and here comes Seat at the Table after the runaway leader, Still Thinking of You, and these front 2 still go at it. Notable Exchange is right there in 3rd. Now shoved along here towards the inside as they reach the top of the lane. They start the sprint for home. Still Thinking of You is trying to hang on. Seat at the Table is now lifting late towards the outside, and Seat at the Table is trying to pass Still Thinking of You, who still fights on. Notable Exchange is not picking it up there from 3rd yet as they approach a final 16th of a mile. Seat at the Table. Perfect journey, and Seat at the Table will get the easy victory. Still Thinking of You second, Notable Exchange, and Mrs. Katz.
5-1-3 finish. Seat at the Table at, wow, 4-5 dropped to odds on.
Seemed like an awfully short price, but the horse got it done. A good ride by Ricardo being aggressive. I don't know why Junior was so eager to sort of sit back with Notable Exchange, not able to pick up any ground. And I give a tip of the hat to Jose Lezcano on the 5-1 Still Thinking of You. He wasn't even riding one of the thoroughly fastest horses, but he put this horse in the front end, and she didn't win, but he gave her best chance in here, but the favorite gets it done.
10 starts on the lawn, 5 victories now for this 5-year-old mare. Phil Antonacci Barn, Ricardo Santana Jr., Sandy Goldfarb, Chris Carney are winning connections with the 5-year-old mare, who rolls by the pace setter late to start the pick 6 on the Friday card.
Yeah, well, 4-5. Didn't look like 4-5 to me, but they knew, and they were right.
Prices, when we come back, we'll get into the late pick 5, and we'll take a look ahead at this older horse division loaded in 2026. Dubai World Cup winner, Magnitude. Journalism, Preakness winner from last year. Could be meeting very soon. Stay with us. Thanks for being with us on this Friday afternoon on our Fox Sports 2 coverage on America's Day at the Races, underway in the Pick 6 and a formful beginning with an odds-on favorite at 4-5 seat at the table to kick off the sequence for the barn of Phil Antonacci with Ricardo Santana Jr.
Starting off in New York, where he left off last year with another winner, this one for Sandy Goldfarb. And think about Ricardo. Ricardo's on a horse that can be forward. You can expect that horse to be forward. He got good position. It was an excellent ride by Jose Lezcano on the one. Still thinking of you, giving her every chance to win this race. As we said beforehand, Greg, the rider that was the most aggressive here would really elevate their horse's chances, and Jose did just that. She wasn't good enough to win, but he gave her every chance, and that's all you can ask from any rider.
Yeah, no question. Winds up in second at 5-1. 5-1-3-6. 4-5 favorite again to start this Pick 6 on the Friday card. And prices, we'll have it a moment here. Well, and then we'll set up the Pick 5.
We like to turn back the clock here, the days when it took like 8 minutes for races to go to official. You know, it's just a reminder. It's always good
patience.
it's always good to remember when.
$3.82 for the victory. It's actually remarkable to me how quickly we get it in.
Remember what's that? There's a great line from Tony Soprano. Remember when is the lowest form of conversation.
You would not have been a good guy to have to deal with when they were, bookies were making the bets on the racetrack.
You might be surprised to know that I've spent my time in bookie shops. Legendary, great bookie shop in Saratoga, which most people now would remember as a place next door to Salevo. But those of us from Saratoga years back, we knew of great spot. Spent a lot of my childhood
there. My neighborhood, too. You used to hang out in the OTB there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Sackett and Court Street?
Yeah.
Anybody from around Sackett and Court Street that's watching knows from the OTB they had there in the corner. That was the greatest place. I love that place.
Which is now a high-end Italian restaurant.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's tremendous. Well, it was a high-end OTB back in the day.
Late Pick 5 at 7/8 on the main track in a $55,000 condition claiming race. Let's look ahead to this summer. It's so much to look forward to. Obviously, Belmont at Saratoga week. Going to be sensational, June 3rd through the 7th. And then July 3rd, we kick off at Saratoga Summer, July 4th Racing Festival. But the official opening day of the meet.
It's July 3rd through 5th, not 6th, by the way.
Thank you. July 10th opening day, that Saratoga Summer meet.
Yes, that's is that what we consider? It's not really the official opening, though.
It's not?
Well, I mean, it isn't. I don't know. Would it have? Because I think it would have been July 17th this year, or July 16th this year, because Labor Day's September 7th.
Okay.
I don't quite understand that.
Let's look ahead to what horses you're most looking forward to seeing run this summer.
The ones I win money on. I don't know who they are yet, but if I win money on them, I think, it was a tough question. We're talking about a horse looking forward to seeing, but I think a horse that I know you are similar to me or a big fan of is Crude Velocity. I don't want to just take the ones in the Triple Crown Trail, because I think there are a lot of people out there, a lot of racing fans, that believe there's a chance that Crude Velocity could be the best 3-year-old. If you're not familiar with him, he's 3 for 3. Got 100 buyer, winning the Pate Mile impressively. Florent Giroux really rides him very well, because he is a horse that has an issue getting out of the gate. He's been slow. Flo did a great job getting him forward after he, not surprisingly, got a little bit left in the Pate, and he beat an extremely talented Englishman for Cherie DeVoe, who frankly may be the best 3-year-old she has, including the Derby winner. And, we supposed to probably see him in the Woody Stevens. Bob talks to Haskell after that, and I'm sure if things work out, we could see him in the Travers as well. And there's a chance he's the best 3-year-old in the country. A long way to go. But this is a good horse, and I can't wait to see him. I know you agree.
I can't wait to see him back in action. He's been very talented. He might be the best 3-year-old in the country. We'll find out. We thought the Oaklawn, and it was, the Oaklawn Handicap was the race of the year to this point. We got another war shaping up at Churchill Downs with the Stephen Foster. Among those showing up, Dubai World Cup winner Magnitude.
Yeah, and obviously Sovereignty. Baeza's supposed to be in there. Sippy Long-Talking. Guaidabario. Listen, I've got an axe to grind. I've got a score to settle. My bad pick in the Travers last year, Magnitude. But I don't think there's any denying, and I know that, you and I will joke around a lot. This horse ran some of the best races of any horse named Sovereignty last year in the 3-year-old division. His win before he got injured in the Risen Star was sensational. And he proved as time went on that it was not a fluke. Maybe just with a prep in like the Iowa Derby, you're biting off more than you could chew in the Travers. That's not the real Sovereignty. Now, whether or not the real Sovereignty can beat the real Magnitude can beat the real Sovereignty is another question, but he certainly showed the Dubai World Cup where he probably ran a buyer figure. I was talking to Randy Moss about it, in the 105 to 108 range. Looking forward to seeing him hook up in another race and hoping we see them together in the Whitney.
Yeah, what a race that is going to be, though. Again, Sovereignty, White Barrio, Skippy Long's talking Baeza, and then Magnitude as well. Let's go to Acacia Clement, who we bring in. Who are you most looking forward to see this summer?
I agree with Andy. It's a very tough question, and there's a lot of horses to be excited about. But I am looking forward to seeing Journalism back in New York again and taking on the cast of characters in the Met Mile, which is shaping up to once again be a sensational race. And he is a horse that was soundly beaten at Oaklawn last time out behind White Barrio and Sovereignty, and he has been beaten by Sovereignty throughout their 3-year-old season. So I do think it's a little bit interesting to see him cutting back in distance to the mile. Will that help him to kind of have his own day in the sun? And I just have become such a fan of this horse. His connection's so sporting last year, running in all 3 legs of the Triple Crown. He ran in the Haskell as well. He faced Older in the Pacific Classic. He did not miss a single dance last year as a 3-year-old, and just such a beautiful animal to watch race as well. I hope that he takes a step forward when facing Older again in the Met Mile, and maybe he can find his own home going a bit shorter, and we get a chance to see him in some of those big races throughout the rest of the season as well. But just a horse that I am a fan of as well, Greg.
Part of this incredibly talented group of horses who have all decided to come back for their 4-year-old season. And yeah, Met Mile, wait to see who he's going to line up against, but we expect an improved performance from what we saw in the Oaklawn Handicap, I would think.
I agree, and I would say that Eclipse Partners, Aaron Wellman, of course, who's in charge of it, I think they were sort of the winner of the Sportsman of the Year in racing last year at a time when, for some reason, which just has proven to be inaccurate, this notion you can't run in all 3 Triple Crown races, they proved that wasn't correct. He ran extremely well in all 3 Triple Crown races, and if it hadn't been for a horse named Sovereignty, he would have been a Triple Crown winner, and his Preakness was an incredible effort coming 2 weeks after that. So I give a tip to the hat, and because of that, I always root for Journalism.
Not just to mention, yeah, ran great in all 3 races, improved his buyer figure from the Preakness to the Belmont.
Yeah. I mean, I really think it's nice to have them reminding people that it's nonsense that you can't run in all 3 Triple Crown races.
We're going to take a timeout. We'll be back much more coming up. We're 14 minutes away from the late pick 5 on our Friday cards. The countdown to the Belmont Stakes is officially underway, which means Saratoga as well. Your last chance to see the Belmont at historic Saratoga. Stay with us.
The sun shines bright on Caraconte. His first crops of racing age are showing brilliance on the racetrack with a high percentage of stakes winners. His versatility is evidenced by winners on all surfaces across the globe. It is all she feels pretty.
Yet another grade 1 for this magnificent daughter of Caraconte.
And his offspring are lighting up the sales ring.
$300,000, Emma, thank you.
Caraconte, standing at Gainesway.
Play the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. New members get a $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. Bet the 3rd leg of racing's Triple Crown from historic Saratoga Racecourse. Download the Naira Bets app now to play any track, anywhere, anytime. The official wagering partner of the Belmont Stakes is Naira Bets. Sign up now and use promo code BELMONT25 to claim your $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
RaceLens is the most in-depth product in horse racing, with unique features found nowhere else. True odds, predictive analysis, and pace projection. RaceLens. It will change the way you follow horse racing and take your game to the next level.
The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
Starting to get up into classic sire.
We're back on our Friday coverage of America's Day at the Races. Brought to you in part where you can play it all at Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. All summer long and beyond. As we get set for the Lake Pick 5 coming up on this Friday card, $25 free Belmont bet. Belmont 25, that code to use at sign up to take advantage and get a $200 deposit match sign up bonus. Here is Gypsy Dreaming. Right now, the 9-5 favorite, Kendrick Carmouche, will ride for Michelle Giangiulio. Let's go downstairs to Acacia.
And starting there, as this horse is taking a drop in class, Michelle claimed him for $20,000 back in February, ran very well against Tougher Allowance Company following that. And then last time out, I think just in a tougher group that he had trouble keeping up with. He was pressing the favorite and the pace setter and kind of taking over. You could see that he was really trying to dig in, but just those strides really tiring in the late stretch going that 6 furlongs against Tougher Company. Now, I don't love him going the 7/8 if I'm nitpicking as far as distance, and especially seeing how he did tire. Again, it was against Tougher, so maybe the class drop will be the big key in here. Other than that, he looks sensational. He's just so compact. He's not the biggest, but he's very athletic. Super coat on him, as always. Really, really healthy and happy horse right now. He does have plenty of early speed, though, and with Kendrick Carmouche, I imagine he will come out running. We'll see if he can sustain the trip going the 7 furlongs in here. The number 5, Windsor Gold, is a new face coming in from Pennsylvania bred for Michael Moore. And I know that his last time, at least recently, his only time at Aqueduct back in December, was a disappointing effort when he came to New York, but that was against much better company, the likes of Over and Ollie, Bold Journey, and General Banker that he was facing that day. I think the class drop makes a lot of sense for him returning here to New York, and he is a big, imposing individual. There's a lot of him. He's just a really attractively put together horse. Like I said, he's big, he's powerful. He had no speed when watching that last race at Parks last time out, and he ran on. He just was left with too much to do and couldn't reach the top 2. And I'm wondering, because he is so big, sometimes horses like that, they just take up a lot of space and take a bit of time to get their feet underneath of them when coming out of the gate. So tactically, that might be the bit of a challenge for him, and he certainly will hope that there's a bit more pace in here. But I think he stacks up favorably with his company, and I really like what I see from him in the paddock, Greg.
All right, thank you, Acacia. 7-2, Windsor Gold. In a big effort at Parks. Will that translate here to New York for the barn of Michael Moore? We'll find out shortly.
Surprised this horse right now is a shorter price than the 6 Celestial Gaze. I would imagine that'll probably change, get closer to post. Michael Moore's horses have run okay here in the past, but it's tough to win here coming from out of town.
Here's the favorite. So 8-5, Gypsy Dreaming. Has speed. Looks like in this field, the one to catch. And just consistency as well of late.
Yeah, Kendrick is not supposed to fool around here. He's supposed to look to really control this race. For my money, I'll take a sprinter who's stretching out from 6 to 7 that is the controlling speed. I prefer him at 7 furlongs because the paces are slower and they turn into 5 furlong races with an advantage. I think his race 2 back going 7 was just fine and good enough to win here. Having said that, I mean, it's interesting. He's favored the doubles, favoring the board now. I'm sorry, he's favored the pick 3. You know, $10 versus $12 in the 6, 17 on the 2. Yet in doubles, somehow Corvino is favored in this race, the number 2, who's likely to be the 3rd choice by post time.
We'll get back here for the post parade momentarily. They're making their way to the gate for race 6 at Laurel Park. Another race that was taken off the turf, sloppy main track now. As you look at the favorite, well, briefly saw the favorite, the one there, Emma Mermaid. It just left our screen for Jerry Robb.
One of the most insane late scratches I've seen is Nisi. Now, is it possible she got injured? Of course, because how you could not want to run the 8 Nisi, who I would predict would have been 3 to 5 in this race. Her last 2 dirt races smother this field. A race where nobody really has any dirt form to speak of. I don't disagree about the 1. I think the 2 is a little bit interesting. Of a coma. This horse has taken money in both the starts and has not run well, but you wonder if Golden Sovereign, some there, the 2 is 5 to 1, has some run. So I think the 1 is the horse to beat the favorite, but I would probably bet a couple bucks in the 2. The horse who is currently the second choice at 5 to 2, 47 Smoker, has run a little bit for our friend Mark Schumann. His last starts in the turf. This horse's dirt form is atrocious.
It is awful.
Atrocious. This horse should never be 5 to 2 in here.
That is wild. The 4 should be the second choice, shouldn't it?
Probably, coming in from Charlestown. I don't disagree with that. Certainly should be a shorter price than the 6. I'm a little interested in the 2, though.
Golden Sovereign, 2 starts at Parks with the 2. Moves to the Mike Gorham barn. And drops to the lowest level yet, career start number 3. But yeah, the favorite on the rail has had 6 starts. The last came on turf, trying something different. But 2, 3, 4 back, all those efforts look, you would think, unless someone steps up here, which could happen, probably good enough to win against this group.
There's a big randomness factor in this race. I think the advantage, at least to me, is I would bet against the number 6 in this race and look for somebody else. I do think the 1, as we said, is the horse to beat. But I think the 2, Golden Sovereign, a little bit interesting. This horse has taken money. We don't know why, and so far has not told us why with the performances she's put in, but she is a Vekoma.
7 at 12 to 1's never been on a dirt surface to this point. And the 10 and the 13 just seem almost impossible to play off on paper.
I could not agree with that more.
Dave Rodman with the call. Here's race 6 from Laurel Park.
Feel the bolt. And Hurricane Lynn. Galabine. And they're off. 47 Smoker, Gotta Be the Shoes is right there. And also early zip on the inside from Golden Sovereign is moving up. Also Jane and Mike involved in the early pace mix. Hurricane Lynn racing up on the far outside. Emma Mermaid broke with the group. Shuffle back a little bit from that second flight as they head into the far turn run. After that, at the outside comes Galabine, as now Emma Mermaid's dropped some 8 lengths in the front and put it between horses for the turn run. Tie Rush second to last, and Feel the Bolt is the trailer. Round that turn they roll, and it's Golden Sovereign down to the inside. Hurricane Lynn there on the outside, gliding up to take the lead. Hurricane Lynn now up to even turns. The Golden Sovereign fighting back on the inside. Hurricane Lynn on the outside trying to get by Golden Sovereign, but Golden Sovereign kicks once more. Center track is Emma Mermaid racing third position. Then it's back to Jane and Mike, and Gotta Be the Shoes. Here's Golden Sovereign. Golden Sovereign splashing away with Emma Mermaid. One final try on the far outside. Golden Sovereign to win it a length and a half or 2 from Emma Mermaid second. Hurricane Lynn. Then it was Jane and Mike, Gotta Be the Shoes.
Golden Sovereign with the victory here, race 6 at Laurel, career start number 3.
Found out why this horse had taken some money. Actually did some running today for a change.
Back to Belmont of the Big 8. Paradise Valley kicks off the post parade.
Yeah, it was one of the long shots in this race coming in from out of town for Kathleen DeMasi.
4 to 1 Curvino for Linda Rice.
Yeah, this horse took a lot of money in the double. Not exactly sure why, but it's Linda Rice and does have fast enough races. Comes out of a tough race.
A 1 to catch the 8 to 5 favorite, Gypsy Dreamy.
I agree. She's the one they got to catch up front.
Kendra Carmouche riding for Michelle Giangilio in the favorite. The 4, Superpower for the barn of Ilkay Kantermachi.
Superpower, it's just the name alone shouldn't be the distant longest shot on the
I
board,
agree.
right? How are you supposed to make a superpower the longest shot on the
This
board?
one has not shown a superpower of yet.
No.
Windsor Gold at 3-1 comes in from Parks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there are races at Parks win this, especially going back. And horses 18 for first and second, 18 of 35 starts.
And Celestial Glaze taking support outside. It's Gustavo Rodriguez second off the claim.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the other horse in here. Comes out of that tough field, did finish behind Corvino, cuts back a little in distance. As another horse that has back races good enough to win.
Let's take a look at Celestial Glaze. 7-year-old son of Frosted. This was back on January 22nd to start this 2026 campaign.
And if you like him, your feeling is he may have needed that race a little bit off the layoff. He was also in way too tough last time. Even though it's the same condition, that was a much tougher race with Kinetic and Georgia Magic in there. Sort of a logical type horse. What I don't like is 5 out of the 6 races before the last race in the layoff finished second at 4-5, 3-1, even money. You know, short prices, 5 seconds and a third. Not exactly showing that killer instinct to win races. Has not won a race in at least over a year plus. Did not win a race in 2025 or 26.
Second choice on the board. There he is. Let's go down to Acacia.
Yeah, the last win came in June of 2024 for Celestial Glaze, so it's been a long time, and I agree that is definitely a concern. But looking at him and the way that I know this horse, I really think that he needed that last start. Not to mention, he had no speed early, and prior to that, and I know going a mile, but even in some of his sprint races, he had been a bit more forward and a bit more involved early on. He was with a late rally last time out a bit, and the race was kind of dominated up front, but he warmed up beautifully out there. I don't know if he still has the will to win, but I think second off the layoff and second time with Gustavo Rodriguez, we will see a better performance from him today. As far as the 2, Corvino, he's cutting back in distance, and this is a horse that just a couple races ago was going a mile and an eighth, and he does not really look at first glance like a 2-turn distance type of horse. He's on the smaller side, he's very compact, but he's so laid back, and I think given his demeanor, that's why we have seen him recently going longer. He's another one, though, that just has no early speed, so I do wonder tactically how he's going to fare. Manny Franco really had to work to wake him up when taking him away from the pony. He was moving fine. He's just so lackadaisical out there on the track. And it does seem like he's perked up a little bit since that warm-up, and I think that was really beneficial. But I think given his demeanor, that's why we have seen him going these longer distances. I wonder if he will be run off his feet in this spot, Greg.
We're going to find out shortly. Thank you, Acacia. 8-5, Gypsy Dreaming. Should have things all to himself early. How long can he last?
We'll see. I mean, I'd like to see Kendrick sort of establish the lead here, make them run a little bit if they want to stay with him. He's not a bullet fast, but he's pretty quick, this horse, and I think Kendrick could really have any kind of lead he wants. Don't play cat and mouse. Don't be up by a half length. Ride him the way our man the Mig would ride him.
Here we go. 8-5 favorite about to step in. There's Kendrick. 2-1 now on Celestial Glaze outside.
No surprise. Hasn't won in a while, but maybe today's the day.
Ricardo Santana Jr. He'll look to go back-to-back on this Friday card. Late pick 5 starts here on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. Chris Griffin the call.
Celestial Glaze goes in. All set. And they're off. Awkward beginning for Celestial Glaze towards the far outside. The speed is Gypsy Dreaming. It gets there easily. Gypsy Dreaming is now very keen and rank on the front end. Here comes pressure towards the far outside from Celestial Glaze. Is going to be 3 wide, and in between them, Superpower. That's the top trio. Paradise Valley is moving through at the rail, and a ridden along Windsor Gold is back in 5th. The Triller, Curvino. 23.01, the opening quarter mile. Gypsy Dreaming in full control, head held high, but Gypsy Dreaming is rolling right along. Superpower, the big long shot, is in 2nd. Here comes the run to the outside from Celestial Glaze. Paradise Valley is asked for more in 4th. Windsor Gold is trying to rally on from 5th, and far back, the Triller, Curvino. They're still chasing Gypsy Dreaming through a 45.79 half-mile time. Gypsy Dreaming and Kendra Carmouche gonna hug the rail and try to put this one away. They reach the top of the stretch now. Gypsy Dreaming is in front. Here comes the run. Down the center of the racetrack, Celestial Glaze. Paradise Valley is the other gray who also starts to roll, and Windsor Gold center of the racetrack too. Gypsy Dreaming inside the final furlong, but here comes Paradise Valley. Paradise Valley is now sprinted on by, does it fairly easily. Paradise Valley will draw away and win it. Paradise Valley over Windsor Gold. Then came Celestial Glaze and Gypsy Dreaming.
Paradise Valley to start off the late pick 5, 1-5-6 finish, 7-1 upset.
Well, I haven't bet a horse that comes off a race at Penn National in a long time, and this one was included, but he turned out to be much the best. Got a nice trip in here, but galloped and got the job done. Case is right, the 3 can't get 7 furlongs. I mean, that got a very slow first quarter. Easy chance when the 6 didn't break and looked like a winner and just could not finish the deal here. 5 picking up the pieces for second, but this horse, Paradise Valley, much the best.
First win for this 6-year-old in the last 12 starts now, 7-1. Hadn't won since Muddy Seal Track at Laurel in February of 2025.
Boy, I looked at this horse's race when he finished second at Aqueduct 3 back, and certainly didn't look competitive to me. I couldn't add this one. Congrats if you did.
Ruben Silvera, Kathleen DeMazzi Barn owns this one as well. And a 7-1 upset here to start the late pick 5. Prices when we come back. Stay with us. We're back on our Friday coverage on Fox Sports 2 of America's Day at the Races, and we have an upset to kick off the late pick 5 on the Friday card. 7-1. Paradise Valley with the 8th career win in 27 tries, first win this year.
One leg should have been 7-5, not 7-1. Congrats if you had this one. It's a horse that really ran well here today. A lot of them didn't run, but this horse ran.
Ruben Silvera. For Kathleen DeMasi, 156 finish, $17.48 start. When you play a pick 5 and you see that kind of a number, you start getting very excited.
No, even with very logical races, including, you know, a theoretical upset in the 3-horse first race, I imagine these pick 5s are pretty good. I was going to take a look and see what they're paying, but a horse like this, get a horse like this in the pick 5s, probably pretty strong.
Up next, this will kick off the late pick 4. It's a $35,000 maiden claiming sprint. 6 furlongs. Alma's Law, don't get too excited. Will not stay at 10-1.
I would imagine Alma's Law will be favored by the time we get to post time. The 2, I think we both agree, looks like the horse to beat.
And outside early on, Call Me Jowl, taking considerable money from a 6-1
The last 2
line.
races were pretty good. I picked the horse second, though, thinking at a price, maybe the horse had a chance. He'll be going up. And the 2 is a slight favorite over the 1 and 4 in pick 4s.
All right, more on this race when we come back, including the post parade to start that pick 4. Stay with us. A lot more ahead, including the story of this rising star. Amelia Green made an immediate impact after moving on as an assistant to Hall of Famer Todd Pletcher. Amelia Green certainly paving her own path.
A surging debut at 2. An international tour de force. An explosive winner of 2 sire-making Grade 1 races.
Raging Torrent running the race of his life. And Raging Torrent and Frankie Dettori cruise to victory in the Malibu. Raging Torrent's coming out party is in the Metropolitan Handicap.
Raging Torrent, the next wave in the Lane's End stallion-making tradition.
Play the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. New members get a $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. Bet the 3rd leg of racing's Triple Crown from historic Saratoga Racecourse. Download the Naira Bets app now to play any track, anywhere, anytime. The official wagering partner of the Belmont Stakes is Naira Bets. Sign up now and use promo code BELMONT25 to claim your $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Some horses are remembered, other horses are passed down, like an heirloom. He's the kind of horse that lives in stories, each better than the one before. He ran 3 straight years at the highest level, and he himself was elite.
Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be National Treasure. Has opened up a 5-length advantage. It's a 1-horse race.
National Treasure, the key to quality.
Passion, performance, and the pursuit of excellence.
At West Point, the horses are the heart of what we do. The partners really are the soul.
The bar that they set is different than everybody else. This starts and ends with the care of the horses.
This is a real immersive experience.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
My first memory of a horse, I mean, it's pretty much before my memories began. I've been very lucky to grow up around horses my entire life. But I'd say when I was like 13, 14 was when this was all I wanted to do. I started out with the show horses, show jumping, and I was lucky enough to jump for England when I was a child. My grandfather was a national hunt trainer in England, so I would say that was the inspiration to trying to get into racing. I think he was the one that was like, why don't you try going to the racing school? When I first came into the industry, I was set on being a jockey. I loved the adrenaline of the going fast and, you know, riding tight in a race, and that was the route I wanted to go. I was incredibly lucky to get a job at Henry Cecil straight off the racing school. I don't think at the time I realized how good of a position that was. He actually sent me out to America one winter to California, and then he sadly passed away that June. I had a trainer in California, George Papapadromou, that offered to sponsor me for my visa and move out to America. I haven't left working-wise since. Go with Gian if you need to. He should be fine, he's ran already, so regular gallop. You know, I couldn't cut the weight riding races. I'm also a realist, and I knew that I was a pretty average jockey. And then I kind of just plateaued a little bit, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I spoke to Michael McCarthy, and he said, would you want to go work for Todd Pletcher? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go work for Todd Pletcher. And so I called him. I think the only thing he said was, when do you want to start?
What was great about Amelia is when she first arrived, she didn't want to just ride. You know, she wanted to be involved in the barn and work the hours that the foreman and the assistants work, you know, to learn all the other stuff that goes into preparing a horse to race.
You just learn something from him every day. As everyone knows, he's not the most vocal person, but if you pay attention to what he's doing and how he's doing things, it's just a great barn to be in and learn in. I think I first told Todd about, you know, the desire to train on my own, like 3 years before I actually did it.
My biggest challenge was trying to hold on to her for a couple of years, and you know, I was able to convince her to stay. I think I talked her into another year, and part of the agreement for that year was we would sort of prepare her for some of the things that you need to know when you're training.
He was very supportive from day one. I think he learned that from, you know, the Lucas tree, that when someone says they want to do something, he's going to help them get there if he can.
You know, the one thing I'm very proud of is not only the success that they've had, but the way that they conduct themselves, the way they represent themselves, and the way they represent the industry.
You can take her away from the pony, she's good. But when I left Todd's right after Breeders' Cup, I actually didn't have a single horse in my barn. So straight from the Breeders' Cup, we went to the November sale, and I was lucky enough I had 2 owners. We bought a filly called On Command and another filly called Wimberley. And that first week, I mean, I did it all myself. I groomed them, I hot walked them, I rode them. That was it, we were up and running.
We give it to On Command, Katie Davis. They win the license fee.
She was always gonna obviously hold a special place in my heart. The first couple of days I was here, I was driving in the gate and just looking over to the Saratoga track and thinking how cool it was to have a barn here of 35 horses in my first year of training. It kind of took me aback for a second, realizing how lucky I am. You're doing what you always wanted to do with your life, working with horses every day. It's pretty cool.
You would think coming out of the Todd Pletcher barn, you're going to go on to do some very good things if you're in there in the first place. And Todd realized he had a talent, and she's proving to be a force here on the New York circuit.
No question about it, John. Because Jonathan Thomas worked for Todd. George Weaver obviously did. Michael McCarthy, who's doing incredibly well, and now Amelia, who's winning at about a 25% clip. Her horses are extremely live. It was clear from day one. And the truth is, it's clear from the fact that she has so much responsibility for Todd Pletcher that she knew what she was doing. Todd is not putting people in those positions that don't know what they're doing.
No question. She'll send out North Starlight to 3 in this race coming up. My girl Aubrey, right now the 9-5 favorite this gray. For the Cantermachi-born Manny Franco will ride. We'll kick off the pick 4 when we come back from this timeout. Back with you on America's Day at the Races on our Fox Sports 2 Friday coverage. We have race 5, start of the late pick 4, approaching the 11-minute mark to post, and there is the one likely to be favored when the gates open, Alma's Law, though right now 9-2 on the board. That price is going to continue to steadily come down and will run equaling the lowest level she's been in for before.
I just feel like those last 2 dirt races and a rider change, this horse is very hard to beat.
All right, we'll get back to it. Let's go to Laurel in Maryland. Race 7, loading up, 6 furlongs, $20,000 claiming race. And just 3 in this field, all 7-5, 8-5, 6-5 favorite outside. That's Probable Angle. Blinkers on. Let's go to Dave Rodman.
Hey, they're off. Forest Boyce gets My Girl back home off to a sharp start and quickly darts away to a 2-length advantage at the opening 16th of a mile from Stay in Tune is second and Probable Angle just to the outside of her. Past the 5-8 they roll. My Girl back home at a sharp pace on this sloppy going. Suddenly bursts away to a 4-5 length advantage. Stay in Tune hustle along there just ahead of Probable Angle, who's third of the trio, heading into the far turn run. It's My Girl back home, still splashing away. My Girl back home with the opening quarter in 22 3/5 of a second. Solid advantage still by about 5 lengths with 3 furlongs left to run. Stay in Tune is fully ridden down to the inside, has dropped back to third of the 3. It passed by Probable Angle. Now Probable Angle's going to take aim at the speedy My Girl back home, who turns for home with a 4 or 5 length lead. Probable Angle toward the center of the track is driven from second. Out of the inside is Stay in Tune in third. Upper stretch, and it's My Girl back home by 3.5. Probable Angle on the outside, driven in second, and then it's Stay in Tune back in third. A 16th of a mile left to run. My Girl back home from Probable Angle. My Girl back home by 2. My Girl back home to win all the way. Under Forest Boyce, Probable Angle, and Stay in Tune.
South Pacific fans playing this one. My Girl back home with a win.
Lone speed on paper. Forest Boyce doing the right thing. Clearing the field, opening up daylight. Probable Angle was probably a bit of an overlay as the third choice in this race. Made a little bit of run, but could not get to My Girl back home.
Back to New York, race 5, Belmont of the Big A. Starts the late pick 4, and there again the favorite. Let's go down to Acacia.
And starting there with the horse that is currently the favorite in My Girl Aubrey, who is dropping back down in class for Ilkay Cantermasi. This is a horse that ran for the 35 and ran well back in March, and then last time out was just against much tougher and was kind of in a chasing spot. So I think this is just a logical drop back down in class. So they did claim this horse for $16,000 as well, and she still wasn't able to win that day and for Brad Cox. So that always concerns me a little bit. She's much sharper once they put the tack on, and I will say, as I saw her 2 back, she actually does look like she's put on some muscle mass, which I appreciate. A bit stronger in her hind end. She's a lighter frame type of filly, and she needed that. So that I appreciate about her. I just do wonder again about sealing the deal, and especially that she has been beaten for lesser, but maybe she meets the right kind of field today. I agree about the 2 Alma's Law, though. I think she's very logical. She is a tall and leggy filly, so I see why they tried stretching her out in distance, but watching her race 2 back, and yes, it was against Maiden Special Weight Company, while she was part of the early pace, she just was really struggling late and flattening and running like a horse that needed less distance. So picking up Edgar Zayas here, she's sharp. She has very good weight for her. She's a dirt horse. She's back on the proper surface. Not to mention, she did finish 4th, holding on 2 starts back in that maiden special weight race behind Point of Reference, who would come back to win again with a 78 Beyer speed figure. So just much tougher company. Goes back down to this level. I think she belongs here. And again, while she is a taller type of horse, I think the way that she's run and her demeanor, I like the cutback in distance for her, Craig.
Thank you, Acacia. It's wild that still she should be favored, right, at post time?
I assume she'd be favored in this race. I picked her. I mean, you go back to her last 2 dirt races, they were against superior horses. These, I don't even think she ran that badly, frankly, in those races. Her prior form wasn't quite as good, but those races, and nothing to knock on Delilah Rivera, but, you know, I mean, Edgar Zayas, an experienced journeyman. I don't think that hurts moving this one. I think 15 over is too big a price at 6-1. I mean, I understand My Girl Aubrey has some consistency, but it just seems like she's shown what she can do. And among the 1, 2, and maybe even the 8, you've got horses that could run faster races and are better bets at bigger prices, at least as of now.
She is favored in the double. She is not favored in the pick 3. She's the second choice.
The 1 is favored in pick 3s, I think, yeah. It feels like based on the multis, the 1 and 2 will ultimately vie for favoritism.
So here is the one to kick things off in the post parade. 15 over for the John Service barn.
John Service has done well shipping in New York in recent times, which is a good sign. I did not like her race at Keeneland, but it wasn't. She's not meeting for any killers here, so as a new face, I think she's dangerous.
As a 2-year-old, Almost did run at this condition on 2 occasions.
I just think the 2 and 3 back the last dirt races beat this field.
Amelia Greenbaum, we showed you the feature, second-time starter, but dirt debut in North Starlight.
It's probably more dirt pedigree. This horse took no money, though, in debut, but who knows? Wild card.
Has some speed here. My Girl Aubrey, Manny Franco.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she's impossible. I think she'll be sitting just off of it, depending on who goes among the 3, 7, and 8.
This
No,
one
sorry,
might-
5, 7, and 8.
Yeah, this one wants to go as well.
You would think she'll be in front. Whether or not she's good enough, though, is another story. It's why she's a big price.
Yeah, she is certainly backed up quite a bit against softer last start. Here's the 6 Quell, second-time starter, dirt debut.
Yeah, I mean, the pedigree is really more dirt, but it's not very strong anyway. And this horse did no running first time out.
Maisie Blue cutting back from going long on the turf.
Just the dirt races are just bad.
Potentially, the last 2 anyway, even worse for this one.
Yeah, they've been terrible. They have been against much better horses. And
First 2 were good,
You go
though.
back to the first 2 races, this horse has speed and could be dangerous. The question is, does the class relief get this horse to refine the once reasonable form relative to these?
Yeah, interesting form with Call Me Jow because the potential was there. Here's the 6. So Quell, start number 2, who was 21-1 in the debut, sprinting on the grass, and now moves to dirt.
I mean, it's a wild card, much like the 3. I don't see any reason to like this horse. Didn't do any running really at all in that race, but maybe getting the dirt, we'll see a different horse. I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't know why this horse is 7-2 and the 3 is 13-1, but maybe there's a story that I don't know of. Homebred for Mark Keller. Okay.
Dylan Davis.
I feel like this board is going to change substantially between now and post time.
really feels
because you've
like
got
it.
a 5 and 4-1 shots that very likely are going to end up the first and second choices, and you've got a 2 and 4-1 shot that are not.
Let's go back to Acacia.
And taking a look at 15 over, I agree that she is too big a price, and she's a horse I really like physically. She really caught my eye back in the paddock, well put together. She's very sharp, striding out nicely, warmed up pretty well out there on the track as well. I agree, she did not do much running last time out, but she was chasing 3 wide and then just kind of flattened and didn't have that needed kick. It was also her first dirt race, and just feel like she comes into the right spot in here. She seemed to handle the dirt just fine warming up out there on the track. Now, taking a look at the 2 horses going turf to dirt, the 6 Quell, I'm also mystified as why she's such a shorter price than the 3 in here. As Andy said, it is a bit more of a dirt pedigree, but the Dam's 3 dirt wins were all in a wet track, and the lone sibling tried turf and dirt and wasn't really effective on either surface. And this filly's built much more like a turf horse. She's very light in her hind end. She's very angular. She's got a flatter hoof on her, slacker pasterns, everything that you'd look for in turf. So she looks good altogether. I just do wonder if she is going to necessarily improve on this surface. Now, the 3 North Starlight, I actually do think that she will improve moving turf to dirt. She too has a bit more of a dirt pedigree, the Dam winning on the main track, again on a wet track, but all 3 of her siblings were dirt winners, and she is not overly turf looking. She is a little bit lighter in her hind end, so maybe that's why she was on the turf for the first time. Again, horses like that maybe just have an easier time pushing off, but she warmed up beautifully. I think that she should handle the dirt, and she's much too big a price right now, especially compared to the other horse going from a similar surface switch, Greg.
Thank you, Acacia. 2 minutes away from this 5th race here coming up. And now the favorite, as we expected, has become Alma's Law. Trying to break through here. Career start number 9.
Yeah, I mean, she's supposed to be around 2-1 in this race. She may not win, but she's the horse to beat. Her races 2 and 3 back were good. Relative to these, they were good. I think the 1 is interesting and at a very fair price right now at 9-2. And I think the 8's a bit of a wild card. The 6 just went down from 4-1 to 3-1. So there must be a story on the number 6, Quell, because this is not a barn that wins a lot of races, to be fair. I don't understand. Maybe this horse is working really well. It doesn't, you don't know from the times of the workouts. But there obviously is a story on the 6, Quell. I don't see any reason I would use this horse. But this is weird, isn't it? At this point, going from 4 to 3.
$13,000 has been bet in a win pool that's just shy of $70,000 on the 6. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing in the paper that says this horse should be that price.
No. Interesting. Let's see what we get for the surface switch.
Makes the race a little more interesting.
And, go back to the 8 as well, as you talked about. One of the more intriguing runners in this field, because those first 2 starts, they were very good. They were against better company, too. But what has happened the last 2 tries? And certainly the last start was against a lot better. But maybe can that one find what she showed us in those first 2 starts?
Well, you're breaking from the outsides. You're out in the clear. Should have speed. Ray Lou is certainly a rider that does not take speed away from horses. I don't know. I mean, this is a wild card. I could see using them. I picked 2nd. I thought she was a little bit interesting. I mean, the 4 could win this race, but the 4 is going to win when the 1 just can't run, the 2 can't run, the 8 can't run, the 6 can't run. The 2 may just be better than these horses. I don't understand why the 2 and 4 are the same price. The 2 seems to have a lot more to offer. I'm surprised the 1 is so cold in the board, and I would love to know what the story is with the 6, because there's nothing that indicates this horse should be this price, even 7-2.
Yeah.
This horse should be a similar price to the number 3, right? I mean, I guess this horse got a 47 buyer for that race. Are people really looking at the 8th place finish in the turf and caring what the buyer means nothing. And the dirt, I would say this 47 buyer in a dirt race transfers to about a 20 buyer, so I don't quite understand it.
We'll see if all that money was meaningful coming up in the next minute and 11 seconds or so. 2-1 favorite, Alma's Law, the 2, as we get set to kick off this pick 4. Chris Griffin to get us started.
Maisie Blue stepping forward. My Girl Aubrey and Call Me Jow. Call Me Jow to the outside. And in. All set. And they're off. Good beginning from My Girl Aubrey. In between horses is asked for that early speed in Bengalese, now with a head in front. Bengalese is quickest, is put a half length on back to 2nd, My Girl Aubrey. Here comes Call Me Jow, is traveling in tandem with Maisie Blue. That's the leading 4. Just behind them in 5th is Quell and Dylan Davis in the 5th spot. They are now 3 in front of 15 over towards the back end of the field, Alma's Law, and the trailer, North Starlight. They work into the turn, 22.59. The opening quarter mile, Bengalese is confronted to the inside by My Girl Aubrey, who's going to shove on through, and Manny Franco makes a decisive move here at the rail. My Girl Aubrey is challenging Bengalese, who still holds that nose advantage. 3 wide as Call Me Jal is in hot pursuit as they reach the top of the stretch. The rest got to pick it up as Bengalese battles on. Bengalese is still there, will not relent, and My Girl Aubrey is throwing everything at this rival towards the inside. Call Me Jal, and here from far out of it, Alma's Law starts to roll. Alma's Law as they approach that final 16th. It is now Call Me Jal, but Alma's Law is picking them up one by one. Call Me Jal's almost home. Call Me Jal wins it. Alma's Law quickly up for second. Then came 15 over and My Girl Aubrey.
Call Me Jal returning to that promise that she had showed the first 2 starts of her career for the Jimmy Ferraro barn.
Yeah, nice job. Nice job by Ray Lou getting that good stalking spot. No excuse for the 4, who just wasn't good enough. The 2 got going a little late, Alma's Law. So for those of you that disagree with Acacia and I that the 6 furlongs might be too short, you were right, though I don't really know if that's the reason. And the 1 got up for 3rd. A little bit of an exacta here with this. The old 8-2-1, Greg. If you could find a reason to ignore the last 2 races, 6-1 looked good. And you know what will forever remain a mystery? Why the hell were they betting on Quell?
Do not understand. There had to be a story, right? There had to be.
I mean, this horse never was. The horse was like 5th on the backstretch, never made a move except backwards. I just don't. I mean, I'm not saying the finish was that surprising. The money was surprising.
So strange.
Weird, right?
Yeah, went off at 7-2, 3rd choice on the board. Interesting. All right, 6-1 on your winner, Call Me Jal, who was definitely interesting in here. We talked about it. Raylu Gutierrez for Jimmy Ferraro. We're going to take a timeout. Still to come, Chad Brown looking to get on the board. He'll be sending out Raise the Bar in today's 7th. Manny Franco will ride. Stay with us.
First again and again and again. First Mission, 4 graded stakes. He made finishing first his mission, and all with big buyers. Now he's a Darley Stallion, and breeders are falling in love with him. Here's fabled horseman John Williams.
First Mission is an eyeful. He's beautifully balanced, and I love the way he uses himself as he moves.
Come to see First Mission and tell us your first impression. Consider it your mission.
Definitely the best horse I've ever had in training.
Sierra Leone has won the Whitney.
Sierra Leone, gun runner reaching for the wire. Sierra Leone does it in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Today was the day that he got it done. It was Sierra Leone.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them.
Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on our Fox Sports 2 coverage. It's a new jam we got going on. Program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. And what's new over at ABR? We have an early look at the probable field for the 2026 Belmont Stakes. They do. I'm not saying I'm part of ABR. I just threw myself into there.
Greg, any group would be proud to have you as a member.
I'd love to join them. 17 fun facts about the 2026 Belmont Stakes as well, including some historical nuggets and a beginner's guide to this year's edition with the who, what, where, when, and why, the final jewel of the Triple Crown. It's all what's new at ABR this week. So head over there, check it out as we get set for what's going to be an incredible week. Belmont and Saratoga, June 3rd through 7th. Call me Jow. Those first two starts made this one intriguing. You get 6-1 if you thought she could find that old form, and she did.
And nice to see Jimmy Ferraro and Ray Lou Gutierrez in the winner's circle, getting it done. Rode the right race, stalked on the outside, and got it done. I'd misread the exact. The exact is $52, Greg.
Okay.
Still pretty generous when you consider all things here.
John dropped the original number.
Yeah, I had misread. That was 8-1 was $39 for a dollar.
Call me Jaldo with the win. Big late run from the Two Almas Law, but left herself a lot of work to do.
Yes. It's turned out too much.
All right, so fifth start after having not hit the board the first 4 tries. Get that maiden win, $15.72 for the win. All of it, this early pick 5, 1942, but the late pick 5 shaping up to be very nice. Pick 6 as well.
Yeah.
Race 6 on the turf, mile and a 16th, New York bred allowance optional claiming field. Scythian back again for Belmont.
What do you do with her off just an awful performance at 58 cents the dollar last time out? I mean, obviously she has the best races of anybody, but that last race makes her hard to take. I took the one who will be the third choice, Can't Fool Me. Downtown Channel on the outside looks like the controlling speed. I think the last race is a bit phony, but maybe she's improving. Though as a 5-year-old, I think her last race dressed her up, but she is the speed.
All right, well, more in this field coming up shortly. The 7th race later today. We're going to see that one on YouTube coverage, and I believe the Fox One app as well. And this is the group that's going to line up.
Look at the morning line. 5 horses from 3-1 to 5-1, and it just shows the morning line maker. Tough to figure out exactly how they're going to bet this race. Good race.
T-Craft for Belmont. We'll have Junior Alvarado for Lee Einseidler Racing, and making the second start back now as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, this horse was early in his 3-year-old year, ran an 86 buyer, winning the Jimmy Winkfield with a great ride from Jose Lizcano. Got a great prep on the turf last time. Not a turf horse during the dirt. I'm trying to be optimistic with this one. I kind of like T-Craft, and you got to root for this one. Our friend Lee Einsiedler owns him. As soon as this race is over, Lee's getting married.
So I assume everyone, big screen, watch the race, then they start the ceremony.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Lee walking up the aisle with his iPhone, you know, like watching the race.
He loves the game that much.
He's a great man, and congratulations to him and Amy on the wedding as well. But excited for him. Always happy to see anything good happen to Lee.
One of the real good ones in this sport.
He's a wonderful man.
So 4-1 on T-Craft. Yeah, this is a very good race. And we talked too, obviously going to break, Chad Brown's going to be in this race with Raise the Bar. Horse that had previously been with Steve Asmussen, and the second start now under Chad Brown's care. And that was a big effort.
I agree. I mean, didn't run the kind of figure man at Sam Houston, but he showed he has the ability to run well. I think the rail was good that day and might have helped him a little bit. This is not an easy field, but he's one of the ones that can win. Will Ollie, will he show up one of his good races? If he does, he could certainly win, but he's very erratic. I like T-Craft, but it's a hard race.
And even the old Little Knee, who of that
was good last
fame
summer
with Bookham Dano, almost pulled off that huge upset against him in July of 24.
What about Tuscan Sky, who at one time would have been very hard to beat in here, but it's hard to know if he's really any good. I think he's was working okay down in Florida, and he does have Flavian Pratt. Now Grande O can win this race.
Yeah.
It's a wide open race.
Very good one. 7th, Belmont of the Big A, 6.5 furlongs. This allowance optional claiming race. Again, that will be seen on our YouTube coverage a little bit later on after we sign off here at the bottom of the hour. Got another segment coming up. Finale for our coverage anyway on FS2 from Laurel. When we come back, performance to post in race 8 at a mile and a 16th. We'll have it for you next. Back with you on our Fox Sports 2 coverage as we get set for race 8 at Laurel. At a mile and 16th here, this entry-level allowance, even money, Neon Bordeaux, Rick Dutrow Jr. barn, coming in from New York.
Not only is Veronica the glue that holds the show together, she just brought me an Almond Joy. I mean, she's a legend.
I was always, an Almond Joy guy.
Neon Bordeaux has absolutely no speed whatsoever. And while I do not disagree, he has the best races of anybody recently, the fact that it's a 4-horse field where maybe the chief competition is the horse on the outside, the number 6, Preacher Myers, who looks completely and totally loose in this race.
Won 3 in a row, by the way.
I think that makes Neon Bordeaux's job a little bit more difficult. Do we know? Because my form had Hazelwood riding both. I don't think he's still on both, right?
I'll verify which one he's. Any confidence though in the 6 going long?
No, but you look up Jamie Ness's form, stretching out in the dirt, doing it off a win. He's got solid percentages, almost 30% with a $1.74 ROI, so he beats the take. If Neon Bordeaux runs the fastest races, but his lack of speed in this race, and we are seeing speed so far doing pretty well on the sloppy track in Laurel. Not that we've seen incredibly competitive racing, but I just think that one may be up against it from a tactical standpoint.
But, going to be making that presence felt late. But, may leave a little bit too much work to do.
He can win. I'm not saying the horse can't win. I'm just saying why, and now he's the second choice. I think the public is seeing what we're talking about, right?
Would you want to make this one, though, even money with the questions about the distance?
Well, it's a 4-horse field, and you're talking about the lone speed. I think that's why that horse is even money, right? I'm not 4 to 5. I'm not betting.
Yeah.
But I would have made the 6 the horse to beat. I'll put it that way.
Dave Rodman with the call. Odds on here. The 6, Preacher Myers, Jamie Nesbarn. You had said Hazelwood. Here it is.
Loading in now, race 8, Neon Bordeaux. Amy's Music. Brindano the Gray. Preacher Myers. And they're off. Brindano the Gray off to a sharp beginning. Preacher Myers is right there, and Preacher Myers, eager to go, has taken a narrow lead as they push to the first turn. Leads at about 1.5 lengths and clears from Brindano. Now 3-length lead. On the inside, Neon Bordeaux and Amy's Music settles off the inside. 4th of the 4 and 6 lengths off the speed. 7 ace to go. Preacher Myers in control of the pace under Yeds at Hazelwood. Backing them up is Neon Bordeaux is racing second spot. Then Brindano outside of that. Out wide is Amy's Music. The opening quarter, very slow in the sloppy going, 25 1/5 for Preacher Myers. Preacher Myers nursed along just a neck in front from Brindano, and Amy's Music, early bit of the outside, 3rd position, trying to put some pressure on that leader as Preacher Myers goes on, a comfortable pace. And Neon Bordeaux is now dropped back to 4th, heading into the far turn, the half mile posted in 50 seconds. 4 furlongs left to run. Preacher Myers up top from Brindano's. Chasing on the outside, trying to make inroads. Another 1.5 lengths more. Amy's Music is 3rd. And Neon Bordeaux is last on the inside and driven for more. Less than 3 is to go. Preacher Myers has been gliding along. Should have something left. And it's a confident ride from Yeds at Hazelwood on Preacher Myers from Brindano. Another 3. Amy's Music is 3rd. Neon Bordeaux saves ground as they turn for home. Has moved up on the inside, almost 3rd position. But Preacher Myers slowed it down and a 1.5 furlongs left to run. Is galloping home, making it look like a workout, a 5-length advantage. Slow pace, and Yeds at Hazelwood cruising along with Preacher Myers. Preacher Myers to win another. It's 4 in a row. Yes, Preacher Myers. from Brindano. And then it was Neon Bordeaux and Amy's Music.
Yeah, as Dave Rodman just told you, 4 straight for this 4-year-old Preacher Myers. Handles the stretch out, no problem.
Speed is good, especially today at Laurel. And nursed along on the front end and drew off and made 3 to 5 look like an overlay.
Indeed. Appreciating this offgoing. Jamie Ness, DEA Thoroughbred Racing. And the Super Apprentice, Yedson Hazelwood. Large margin of victory there. And this 8th from Laurel. Finale from Laurel to see over on YouTube and the Fox One app, as we're going to wrap things up here with our coverage here. Not done just yet. Not yet.
No?
No.
You gonna do a magic trick or something?
I might do if we could pick a winner for the next race, maybe. We'll try that.
That's a magic trick we're not capable of pulling off, Greg. I meant one you could do.
Race 6 on the turf at a mile and a 16th, this allowance optional claiming field. And, you know, we talked briefly about Scythian, that last start. Not getting you too excited here. At a short price, Downtown Channel, meanwhile, gate to wire win, coming back off a long time away for the Rosh to Paz barn. And the man who was aboard that day, back aboard today.
Yeah,
Santana Jr.
I'm against. I thought that horse had the absolute run of the race last time out. The bias that probably helped a little bit. Is the lone speed, though.
Those two taking the majority of the money. You got Can't Fool Me on the rail for Fernando Abreu with Pratt. Second start back off the bench. Certainly could improve. Hadn't raced from early November to May. Get a quick look there at the field. There's Scythian, even money for Belmont. Was a graded stakes winner back as a 2-year-old.
I mean, she's the horse to beat, except her last race makes her very hard to take here.
Big backwards move, no question, last time out. See what happens coming up. We're going to push everyone to YouTube, New York Racing Association page, or the Fox One app. We have Acacia Clement, Paul Verderosa. They're going to be taking over for the two of us. We are back on as well tomorrow, FS1 and FS2, 12:30 Eastern start time with our coverage. And I will see you early tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Hope you enjoyed it, but more to come, again, on the Fox One app and over on YouTube. Catch the rest of the card, that finale from Laurel as well, and we will see you then. Paradise Creek coming up tomorrow, race 7 on our Saturday coverage. We're going to take you all the way through Monday, too, with Memorial Day racing. Hope you join us all weekend long. Opener on the card, it was Mallet Lady with the upset score for the Ken McPeak barn. Christopher Elliott beating a huge favorite to kick off this Friday card. Tomorrow, Paradise Creek. See if Intricate Spirit can get his picture taken in his 3rd start of his 3-year-old campaign. Coverage continues. YouTube, Fox One next.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Maggie Wolfendale here in the Big A Paddock on what is a lovely May day. We have horses set and ready for today's 6th race. We are seeing the New York bred fillies and mares going long on the turf, and we do have a prohibitive favorite that is looking to make good on a disappointing effort as odds on last time out. That's number 5 in here, Scythian. what was her excuse? The only thing I could come up with is that the winner got a bit more of a jump on her. Now, also looking at her, and while she comes out of graded stakes efforts prior to that for her 4-year-old Bal, she ran quick numbers, but that could have been relative to the competition she was facing. I wonder how much this filly's really gone on from that 2-year-old season. She has really not changed much physically. She has not filled out. She is fairly lean through her flank and her top line. I just wish there was a bit more of her. So yes, at least on paper, she feels like that she is an overlay here in this field, or overlays this field, I should say. But I'm not in love with what I'm seeing from her physically. Now, number 3, she's going to have to step up her game when it comes to numbers. But Saratoga Snow, this is her first start as a 4-year-old, so that could happen. She could be able to step up her game here because physically she looks as though she has. She has filled out. She has grown a bit. I do think she's best when she's more forwardly placed. Now, she's not getting the lead over Downtown Channel here, that's for sure. But Jose Lezcano, we know Jose Lezcano can be aggressive with horses, and I'm hoping that he is sitting that nice pocket trip as we welcome Acacia Clement and Paul Vitarosa to the show. Hey, guys.
Hey, Maggie, thank you so much. Happy to be here. Acacia and Paul up on the set. The post parade is underway here, Paul, for race 6. We saw the first couple go by. That's a look at the 3 Saratoga Snow Maggie was just discussing.
I like Saratoga Snow today a little bit. Hoping she grows up a little.
Their snowy evening. She is 3rd off the layoff.
Got a good trip last time. I came up a little bit empty in the stretch. We're going to do better, though. We've seen better from her.
Scythian, the favorite. She's just so tough, having been beaten at some short prices.
Yeah, we'll talk about her a little bit more. I just don't see an excuse last time for her, slow pace or not.
Downtown Channel, far more forward when coming back off the layoff last time out.
I was surprised to see her go wire to wire in this spot last time out, but you know what? Today she's got the run of the race again from an outside draw. She should be forward, and that's the best way probably to get her to win 3 in a row.
3-1 right now for the Inform mare by English Channel. I remember when she was on the lead, I looked over at Horacio de Paz and I was like, how did she get to the front? And he said, those English Channels, just give them time. And she was even more forward in her last race before the layoff as well.
Yeah, she was. And also, too, it was funny because the second place runner got ridden from the back in that start, too. And you'd think that she would have had a little bit more speed in there. She didn't, and she ended up running second to Downtown Channel. So really nothing wrong with that. When you're aggressive, it pays off.
We're taking a look at the replay for Scythian and Can't Fool Me. Can't Fool Me came from off of it to finish second, and it was kind of a tip out and then flatten move for Scythian. I'm with Maggie. I saw her several times down in the winter throughout her season running at Tampa, and she just never really developed as much as you would like to see, and I think that shows in the racing efforts thus far.
I wonder if it was a case with her that she was doing well, and then all of a sudden, she ran into graded stakes racing and she didn't run as good. And I wonder sometimes if that just took away her heart a little bit.
I don't know.
You know? I mean, like,
she
it
had
just,
some excuses even prior to that.
I agree, but I just kind of wonder if it kind of did a little bit of a number on her. And she came back last time, slow pace or not, and just had nothing. So I just wonder if she just hasn't taken that step forward, as you said, developing, and maybe she took a step back mentally, put it all together, and she just hasn't run well. And she's hard to take it. Listen, she's got races that can win this race.
Yep.
But at 6-5 and coming off of her recent efforts, it's hard to take.
Very tough to trust. As we'll go back to Downtown Channel, she won last time out, as mentioned, on the lead. She was fresh off the layoff, and she is one that has developed, coming back now as a 5-year-old. And, you know, we talk about it often, the progeny of English Channel. Sometimes they're not much to look at, but they often get better with time. And that really seems to be the case for English Channel.
Yeah.
Sorry, Downtown Channel.
I think that she figured it out in her last couple of starts. And last time she was able to get comfortable in front and she was able to just hold sway and do enough to win. She really was never threatened in that race either. She improved a couple of points coming back. And again, you look around in here, and other than my top pick, Saratoga Snow, there's really no speed in here to keep her company in here, or the potential to keep her company, so she could fall into the same trip again.
We'll see how the pace does develop as we go back to Maggie trackside.
Yeah, and I'm taking a horse that closes from off of it, and you're definitely not reinventing the running style of a 7-year-old mare, but I'm going to take number 1 in here, Can't Fool Me. To my eye, I think she looks better than what she usually does. She's never been the most well put together horse, you know, but now finally as a 7-year-old, everything's kind of filled out. It's where it should be. Overall, she's kind of awkwardly framed, if you will. She's got a little bit of a sway back, you know, her hind end in the past used to be kind of weak looking, but that's not the case at all whatsoever anymore. And her last effort, which I thought was a really promising return to the races here for this season for Fernando Abreu, and she was beaten by a horse, Midnight Concerto, who typically has the same running style as her, but Rayo Gutierrez that day on Midnight Concerto opted to move a bit early and keep her closer to the pace, which ultimately played out to be the winning move. And Can't Fool Me, she toiled kind of at the back as she typically does, but she made a nice run into a race where I think she was a little up against it. Now, I totally heed the fact that she might be up against it here, but at least she draws the rail. So it simplifies things. You're on the rail, just stay there, save as much ground, and hope that a horse like Saratoga Snow may apply some pressure, or maybe they kind of regroup with Scythian and maybe have her sit a little bit closer because it didn't work in her favor last time either. So I just really loved what I saw from Can't Fool Me. She's been a mare Acacia that has been around for a long time, so I'm very familiar with her. And I think today, I didn't cover a race last time, but today she's looking better than ever.
That's great news, Maggie. Thank you. Yeah, I was in the paddock last time and just said she really needed to strengthen, but was looking well and looking like she's done exactly that, coming here second off of Vallejo. She ran very well last time, and to Maggie's point, Midnight Concerto, who she was sharp that day, and she looked probably the best she ever had coming into that race. She made that first move, whereas Can't Fool Me was making the last run.
Right, and you know, the other part of this too as well, her figures just figure in here as well. She's run fast enough races to be competitive in here. The only thing is, she was a big price last time. She was prices before that. Now you knew, second off of a layoff, Flavia Pratt getting aboard, drawing the rail. She's going to be a shorter price in here. So I'm not too high on her in here because I just think she's too short of a price. Last time might have been the time if she could have got the job done. We'll find out, but second off of a layoff is an angle I love when they come back in here. I picked her second in here. I think she can win for sure.
Give me the pitch for Saratoga Snow off the layoff.
She's going to have to get faster. I know she ran those 2 races back-to-back, and yes, she beat Hello Beauty. I get it. But she looked good doing it in those 2 starts. It's almost like the light bulb came on for her, you know, after winning her maiden race. Like, oh, I could actually do this. The race before she went away for the winter, Gallant Greta was a legitimate favorite in that spot. I feel like she kind of just didn't do much running, but she's got some questions to answer. And in a field where she's going to be forward, I think Jose Lezcano can use some of the speed that she had. Maybe she could just fall into the right trip in here. She's got to get better. She's a big price, but favorites have some questions to answer.
4 to 5 on Scythian, a very short price right now as we go in on the turf. We'll send it up to track announcer Chris Griffin for the call.
Now is all the way in, all set. And they're off. Saratoga Snow broke sharply from in between horses. There's Downtown Channel towards the outside as they quickly come out of the chute. And Saratoga Snow, Jose Lezcano with a nose advantage, but here comes the speed of Downtown Channel from the outside draw. Downtown Channel is out in the center of the course right now, is about in the 3 path, is trying to cross over and slow things down. But here comes Saratoga Snow trying to hold that position, and Scythian is now a close-up second. So the front trio now sort themselves out, and they're chasing Downtown Channel. Ricardo Santana Jr., 25.33, the posted opening quarter mile. Scythian is within range, is now a stalking second. Saratoga Snow is back to third. Gap of another 3 back to Considerate City. Dylan Davis is just running alone there and passed towards the outside here from Snowy Evening. The Triller, Can't Fool Me. Downtown Channel is the leader. Scythian within a half length is not losing sight of that leader, who's alone up top. It's Downtown Channel up by a full length. Scythian still there in second. Saratoga Snow at the rail in third. Considerate City now starts to move forward. Senses the slow tempo, 50.83 for the half-mile time. Snowy Evening and Can't Fool Me. Downtown Channel trying to take them all the way, and Downtown Channel into the far turn. Here comes the run from Scythian, and no excuses. Scythian Jr. Alvarado is now within range in 1:15 flat for 3/4 of a mile. Saratoga Snow is in third. The rest was still a lot of ground to make up as they reach the top of the lane. Downtown Channel's done all the heavy lifting, and Scythian towards the outside. Downtown Channel is still a nose in front now. Scythian starts to get the advantage and tipping to the outside. Saratoga Snow is trying to lift late too. Scythian has taken the lead. Downtown Channel battles on. Saratoga Snow and a late run here, Considerate City. Scythian will get it done. Scythian wins it over Saratoga Snow. Then came Considerate City for third.
Scythian gets the victory here as we want to welcome in our viewers on Fox Sports 2 that did join us in the middle of that race. Occasionally come on alongside Paul Verderosa, Maggie Wolfendale here with us as well. Thanks for sticking with us as we get back over to FS2 here. And how about Scythian? She delivers at a very short price, Paul, and she had some legitimate questions coming into this race, especially last time after being beaten at such a short price. I think the way Junior Alvarado rode her today made a big difference.
Yeah, there was definite intent to keep the leader, Downtown Channel, in his sights all the way around. And as you said to me in mid-stretch, she really doesn't want to go by. And she finally did. She was able to hold off a little bit of a run from Saratoga Snow, my top pick in here at a big number. And basically, the runners that were second and third in this race sitting off of Downtown Channel were the ones that made the most noise late. I did Considerate City actually ran well to close into a slow pace to run third.
And nice call by you. As you mentioned, you like Saratoga Snow, 15-1 checking
Got
in
a nice
second.
spot, just couldn't get there late.
That helps a little bit
Yeah.
with an even
No, it
money
does.
favorite
It does.
winning. But 5-3-2-6. Scythian, who was beaten at a very short price last time out, she makes amends today and gets back to the winner's circle. The first time since she won the Miss Grillo as a 2-year-old that she
know.
gets back to the winner's circle.
Long time coming.
Long time coming for her. Daughter of Tiz the Law gets the win. Fort trainer Belmont will bring you prices and more as America's Day at the Races continues after this.
To get up into the Pacific Classic is
Good Magic, the classic sire.
Play the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. New members get a $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. Bet the third leg of racing's Triple Crown from historic Saratoga Racecourse. Download the Naira Bets app now to play any track, anywhere, anytime. The official wagering partner of the Belmont Stakes is Naira Bets. Sign up now and use promo code BELMONT25 to claim your $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Perennial leading New York sire Central Banker, sire of a $325,000 two-year-old colt in 2026, and the leading New York sire of stakes horses again, including Hot Currency.
Hot Currency up by 5 widening lengths, approaching that final furlong. No catching a geared down, dominant winner of the 4-star Crook. Give it to Hot Currency.
Central Banker, standing for $7,500 at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
Monmouth Park's summer season rolls on with live racing action every weekend with a $12.50 first post. Play the win early and late 50-cent pick fives, boasting a low 15% takeout. Plus, play our new $3 all-turf pick 3, $3 late pick 3, and $5 late double, all with the same player-friendly 15% takeout. Get in on the action at Monmouth Park Racetrack.
Every 2-year-old champion has precocity, but only one can be called fierce.
Fierceness!
Brilliant at 2.
A powerhouse win!
Dominant at 3.
Fierceness is putting on a show in Hallandale today. Fierceness to win the Travers.
Tenacious at 4.
Fierceness has won the Pacific Classic.
All the makings of a champion. Fierceness. New to Coolmore America.
For the Barraclough family of Saratoga Glen Farm, raising horses is all in the
I
family.
think it doesn't work if you don't have your whole family involved in what you do.
New York native Dan Barraclough and Kathy Barraclaw, whose accent gives away her Australian roots, fell in love on horseback when they were leading trail rides at a resort in the Catskills. Even back then, they envisioned owning a horse farm and having children that would grow to share their passion for thoroughbreds.
We planned on it.
Not necessarily with me, but she planned on it for sure.
For the oldest, Taylor, middle son Shane, and the youngest Dean, the wake-up call comes early.
They'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, start stalls, feed, bring in, work the yearlings, work the layups, and then
They get up and work, then we get up and go have fun as well.
Taylor is already an accomplished equestrian.
For compensation for working here, I got to have a mare here. This is my 1,000 words colt. I'm really excited. Hopefully I get to sell him, and I don't know, I think he's really cool.
Shane excels at sports, but understands that his work on the farm is key to the family's success.
How do you think this will help you?
Mostly the work ethic of like how I do things in school with like a timeline maybe, or what I need to get done in a certain period of time and how fast I need to do it. Staying focused.
Dean prefers training his dog for agility trials to riding. He's even started Dean's Delicious Dog Treats to earn money for his passion. But even he picks up a pitchfork when it's time to clean a stall.
I'm watering, I open doors, I mow lawns, I help Dad.
The Barraclow clan credits another family for helping them become successful, the family of New York breeders, who were generous with time and advice.
And we had a lot of help along the way. Joe McMahon was a mentor for us. He helped us, get our first clients. It's been a very good community for us. Ann Morgan and Tim, when he was alive, they were very helpful and accommodating.
When this War Dancer filly races at Saratoga someday, she'll carry with her all the love and care she received from all 10 of the helping hands at Saratoga Glen Farm.
Love those New York breds. As always, be sure to check out more information on the New York Breeding and Development Fund. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Glad to have you with us as we see Scythian and Junior Alvarado head back into the winner's circle. Junior was aggressive with her. She was more forward, and it made a big difference.
It certainly did, and being able to track just off of Downtown Channel, and the pace was slow again for this horse, but she was able to finally get the job done. I mean, not exactly a wow performance, but enough to maybe get her confidence back up a little bit that she could win. Watching her down the lane as she turned to me and said she really doesn't want to win, but she ultimately ended up winning. And Downtown Channel really didn't have that much of an excuse. Ran, I thought, okay, went out, set the fractions, as we said, and see Scythian just trying to plod on by on a turf course to get on by. And Saratoga Snow, I thought, ran well, too, coming off the layoff, being able to sit pocket and just turn out and get up for second. And they were off a fast closing Considerate City, actually, all things considered. And winner gets the job done. Just not sure where we go from here with this horse, but at least a win is a win.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, we'll see if it gets her confidence back up. Maybe it will make a difference. But good to see her back in the winner's circle. 402 for Scythian. She delivers at a short price with some big prices underneath. Good call by Paul, who did like Saratoga Snow at a big price in second. Take a look at the field for race 7. This is a really fun race. Allowance race going 6.5 on the main track. You have a 7-2 favorite, so it just shows you how competitive it is with T-Craft going back to the main track. I thought there were a lot of different ways to go.
There are. It's a fun race. There's lots to dig into and talk about this. And you can make a case for just about everybody in this field. And on their best day, they all can run some pretty fast races.
Yeah, a lot of them have it in them. So we'll see who can run back to some of those big races, as of course, a lot of our attention is now pointing towards the third and final jewel of the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes, coming up in just a couple weeks here in New York. It'll take place for the final time at Saratoga before we go back to our rightful home at the new Belmont Park with Belmont Stakes Racing Plus Festival, June 3rd through 7th. Tickets are on sale. Hope that you'll come out and join us. Check out belmontstakes.com/tickets. The energy is amazing out there that week, Paul.
It is, and the racing, top to bottom, is always star-studded and always great. From the first day to the last day, you always get some great action-packed stakes races.
Yeah, you really do. Wednesday kicks off with the New York Breds.
Love it,
we get a chance to highlight them with all those New York Bred stakes, which I think is such a fun day, all the way There were, of course, Belmont Stakes on Saturday. Some great races throughout the week. Here's a look at the probables for this year's Belmont Stakes. We'll see how the race does, of course, play out, but looking like we should at least see the top 2 finishers from the Kentucky Derby in Golden Tempo and Renegade. I think a lot of people thinking that Renegade might actually become the favorite in this year's Belmont Stakes as he goes out for Todd Pletcher, who certainly knows how to win a Belmont.
He certainly does, and this horse showed me so much in the Derby. I was not his biggest fan on the Kentucky Derby Trail, and just the way that he got bounced around early, he was still able to save ground. He was still able to make all the moves that Gerardo Ortiz Jr. asked him to make, and for me, he just got picked off by the last move that turned out to be a winning move in a pace that fell apart. But believe me, he can run well. I'm excited to see what he can do in here. And I think ultimately, based on what he has done and based off that race, he probably will end up going off the favorite in there.
Yeah, he made that first move, and then, like you said, run down late by Golden Tempo. Here's Todd Pletcher's 4 Belmont Stakes wins back in 2022. He actually ran 1-2 with Nest finishing second that year, the 3-year-old filly as well. He's had so much success in this race, not only horses that have won, but horses that have hit the board in the Belmont too.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing if they run Power Shift in this spot too,
like
because they worked well. Renegade and Power Shift worked together. It seemed that Power Shift worked really well and galloped out well in that work, and he comes out of a maiden special race that he won, and he ran well in there. So I think Todd's got a formidable hand if he runs them both.
Yeah, he's actually a bit more seasoned than it might originally show too, because he finished second at Tampa. I was there that day to Emerging Market.
That was a hell of a race. I was on the desk. That was a hell of a race.
Quite a race, and it was like 90-something buyer for a maiden with those two, and then he went right into the Tampa Bay Derby, which was a lot to ask. So I'm excited to see him for sure. There's Todd Pletcher's charge in this race coming up. Tuscan Sky making his first start since June of last year, where he ran a disappointing 5th in the Salvatore Mile. He's got some fast races in there. See if he can run back to them. We'll talk more about him and the field after this on America's Day at the Races.
Quality Road, proving Lane's End's tried and true stallion-making tradition. Quality Road has sired multiple Eclipse Award and Grade 1 winners, including Champions National Treasure, Corniche, Abel Tasman, and recent Grade 1 winners Hope Road and Clicquot. He's a leader of his generation. Quality Road, a stallion that stands above the rest.
44-4 for that hot half-mile time, and now Solitude Dude is down to business.
And another terrific display from Queen Maxima. And a very special performance indeed out of El Potente.
Rude Velocity, a sharp 3-length winner of the Pate Mile.
Cyberknife was a very talented horse from day one. A very gifted, fast horse, a lot of speed, able to carry it around 2 turns. Looks a tremendous amount like Gunrunner, same ability and talent, beautiful physical, outworked every horse on the board. Holds the track record in the Haskell. He won it in impressive fashion, beating a very good group of horses.
And Cyberknife has won the TVG.com Haskell over Tama. Jack Christopher finished 3rd.
The Arkansas Derby was one of his best. Showed how much talent he really does have and stamped himself as one of the best 3-year-olds in the country.
His name is Cyberknife!
Cyberknife ranks up there as one of the most talented horses I've ever had in training. Multiple Grade 1 winner, brought it every time you let him over there. Excited about him passing on his durability, his soundness, and his talent. And if he does, he could definitely be a breed-shaping stallion.
It's just super exciting.
This is a real immersive experience.
It's the respect from the outside that they get, but along with the way that you feel when you're part of it.
High-class horses, really big races. We want you to be behind the velvet rope.
The bar that they set is different than everybody else, and it needs to raise everybody together.
Your job is to show up and have fun. We'll take care of the rest.
Back on America America's Day at the Races as we head over to Laurel Park, the 9th and final race coming up there. They're off the turf, as you can see, quite a rainy afternoon, so maiden claiming off the grass. But the race held together overall, just one scratch, and the number 8 Darty Time with the speed and dirt form looks pretty tough.
I would think so, too, going out for Rudy Rodriguez here. Showed speed last time, opened up a big lead, got caught by Tap It Back. I just think this horse has better numbers and better speed than a lot of this field, so should be forward and at a track that's been playing well to speed today.
I always laugh when I see this horse because I think it was Tom Amos when she ran at Saratoga in her second start who didn't know what a Darty was.
Oh, Tom.
Loved a good Darty back in my day. As Darty Time for Rudy Rodriguez, 9-5 right now on the board. The 3 Dandy Vandy taking some attention. This horse has never been on the dirt, though.
Yeah, going off of turf form and probably that maiden claiming form where the horse ran 3 second-place efforts. But now it's a little bit different story, going 5.5 on a sloppy track. And this horse, I guess, could be positionally close early on. But I just think the 8's probably going to outrun them if the 8 breaks well, you would think.
Looking like the 5, Sadie's Holiday, is giving the starting gate crew a little bit of trouble there going into the gate. First-time starter. She does debut for trainer Mike Trombetta, but at least an unknown as she has gone in now.
Stakes placed on the grass going long was the dam.
Yeah.
There, so more of a turfy pedigree.
Much more turf. So we'll see if she gets some experience today. Just about in for the 9th and final at Laurel Park. Here's Dave Rodman for the call.
Get her off. Faraway Eyes, Crab Mentality, and Darty Time firing out for the early advantage. On the outside, Sadie's Holiday just picking up the 4 spot. Knock Knock on the inside. It had to be Blues, only 5 lengths off for Speed and Dandy Vandy's in the back. Darty Time getting away from Crab Mentality. Plenty of room for Knock Knock to push through into the 2nd spot. Sadie's Holiday 4th outside in mid-flight. Then it's Had to be Blue, ground saving there. Faraway Eyes backed out to last position and passed by Dandy Vandy out 3 wide in the turn. Midpoint of the turn, and it's Darty Time just off the inside. Knock Knock right there to contest. And then extreme outside is Dandy Vandy trying to get underway. And Crab Mentality is next. It Had to be Blue, saving that ground into the stretch. Turning for home. And leader is Knock Knock. Knock Knock there is Dandy Vandy on the outside. It Had to be Blue, charging at the rail and willing. A 16th of a mile left to run. Knock Knock. Knock Knock. It Had to be Blue. Dandy Vandy still trying on the outside. Knock Knock. Will Knock Knock get there? Knock Knock. Knock Knock and Jevion Toledo from Dandy Vandy. It Had to be Blue, then Faraway Eyes.
Knock Knock. First off the claim for Anthony Ferrier gets the job done. A disappointing effort from your favorite, Darty Time, who tried to wire the field unsuccessfully, and one Knock Knock gets the win at Laurel. Back over to Belmont at the Big A. That's a look at Tuscan Sky for Todd Pletcher and Rapoli Stable in the paddock. I am curious about this horse cutting back in distance, Paul, as he's 4-1 right now on the board. Let's check in the paddock with Maggie.
Same here, Acacia, as this is a really fun race. It is a race that, as the board would indicate, you can make a case for many runners in here. But we'll take a look at a horse who is coming in off of a layoff for Todd Pletcher in the outside runner, number 8, Tuscan Sky. Now, if you go by the kind of hard and fast rules of looking at horses physically, there's nothing about this horse that says he's a sprinter. He's very long and lean. He has filled out, to give him a little bit of credit, now that he comes back here as a 5-year-old. And on top of that, it's not like he's a particularly sharp horse. He's fairly laid back in his disposition, but he comes in with some fast workouts that annoyingly you cannot watch, or they didn't catch him down there at Palm Beach Downs on First TV. But also, he did win going 6 furlongs first time out and posted a pretty fast figure at the dawn of his 3-year-old season. So it's in there, and maybe Todd Pletcher is recognizing that going back to the drawing board, maybe it will work for him. Maybe things will set up for him in this race, or It also just could be a race to get him started. However, he does look incredibly fit and strong here. So he's an interesting player that I don't know if I would be willing to take him at a short price, and just kind of seeing how he performs today and going from there. Now we're going to look at two other horses that are second off of respective layoffs, including number 5, Raise the Bar, for Chad Brown. Now, last time when I saw him, it was his first start for the barn over a muddy racetrack, to be fair, so that may have played into the third place effort, but also he got a bit hot that day on April 26th. Just, you know, in my experience, horses, when they show that off of layoffs, it generally indicates that they need a start. And I thought he ran okay after setting a pressured pace, and he kind of wanted to try to dig in there. So they're going to add a very, very minimal blinker, a very short cheater cut blinker with holes on the sides too. So not changing too much as far as his line of sight, but he just looks that much tighter. He isn't hot here, but he's also still sharp. He's still engaged in the paddock. I think he takes a step up from that effort last time out, though I do think this could be a deeper field. As we'll also check in with the horse that has been flirting with favoritism at a very tepid 7-2 is T Craft, who I think people are seeing the fact that he came back for his first start as a 4-year-old and ran rather well when you look at it from a buyer speed figure standpoint on the turf. Now, that could have been just a race to get him going, because while he ran well and he did show some speed, he broke running going the 5.5 furlongs, he kind of ran like a dirt horse. There wasn't a acceleration. There wasn't, you know, kicking in through the lane, that turn of foot that turf horses generally have. I will say this, though. He has grown, he's become far more athletic, and he's very bright and vivacious here in the paddock. Just looks as though he's thriving at the moment for Belmont and company here. So, Acacia, I think getting back to what is his preferred surface, we're going to see him take a potential another step up the ladder.
He faced some very good horses in his last few dirt starts. Maggie, thank you. T. Craft ran on the turf last time, but prior to that, ran in the Amsterdam, where Smokin' Wicked was incredibly impressive that day, and then was facing Patch Adams prior to that in the Grade 1 Woody Stevens.
He did disappoint there. He didn't run badly,
yeah,
all things considered in that spot. I just have a question. He can improve, believe me. You know, those 3-year-old figures could be better at 4 if he's grown up, but I just worry that his fastest race may not beat some of the best races from some of the other horses.
It's a good group. Let's meet the whole field, beginning with the venerable New York bred General Banker.
Doesn't miss many dances, General Banker, and that's what I love about him. Last race wasn't good, but it was on turf. Back to dirt today.
Next will be another New York bred, El Grande O, winner last time out.
We'll talk about this horse a little bit more in detail later, but 9-2 on this horse. I'll book every dollar on this horse today because I think this horse has a big chance to get the job done.
Thought a little bit interesting, Little Knee second off the layoff, if he could run back to some of those fast Saratoga races.
If he can do that, he's a competitor in this spot. It figures, but the last race was not that good. To be fair, though, the field was okay, so we'll see what we get today, second off the layoff.
Now, Face Durante would come out of there to win the John A. Nehrude in his subsequent start. There is Raise the Bar, second off the layoff for
Thought
Chad
ran
Brown.
a good effort coming in from Sam Houston. Apparently some other people also think that up here with us as well, or they were Durante fans, either way. But I think the blinkers going on will help focus at the end of the race.
Over and Ollie, what version of him do we get today?
We'll know about 110 yards into the race. Where he is where we think he'll probably end up finishing. Trying to send him long's ridiculous, though, because you need a truck to pick him up at the quarter pole. He's not a horse that wants to go long.
I think he'll like getting Lee6 back as
That
well.
too.
And T. Craft, turf to dirt.
Turf to dirt looked like a prep last time out. We'll see if this horse can improve from 3 to 4 on the dirt.
And now tepid favorite at 3-1, Tuscan Sky on the cutback and distance.
Just wonder what this is about. Will he run big sprinting, or will he actually need to go longer?
That's the field for the 7th, Belmont at the Big A. We're going to return to Laurel as there is an inquiry in race 9 involving the number 3, Dandy Vandy, who finished 2nd, and the number 7, Crab Mentality, who finished 5th. So between the 3 and the 7, the 1, your unofficial winner in the red silks and black cap, they're not affected. Again, this has to do with the 3 and the 7. 7.
Looks like the 3 came in, but I'm not sure. I guess the 7 took up a little bit there.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell
Very
on the
hard to tell.
head-on because he's moving in on him, but I can't tell if he was fully clear of him or not in that spot.
So unofficial order of finish 1, 3, 2, 6, 7. Again, inquiry involving the 2nd and 5th place finishers at Laurel. We will keep you updated as to what takes place over there, but still unofficial with that inquiry. That's a look at T-Craft here in New York. 4-1 not right now on the board. This is his win in the Jimmy Winkfield back in March. Again, after that, he would go right into the deep end and facing some of the toughest sprinters of the division as a 3-year-old last year. Can he run back to this race? And as you pointed out, Paul, is it good enough?
That's my biggest question because we know he can run well. We know he can run figures in the 80s and the higher 80s, which he did as a 3-year-old. The question is there improvement there? Now, he got the prep in him on the grass. He comes back to the dirt. He comes back sprinting, which he wants to do. Is an 88, let's just say he runs an 88 here, is that good enough against a horse like an El Grande O, against a Raise the Bar, against an Over and Ollie? I hope. Would love it to see it for Leon Seidler, no doubt. But I just question whether or not this horse's best race can beat some of the other horses in here's better races.
By the way, there was a disqualification at Laurel in race 9. New order of finish 1, 2, 6, 7, 3. So the 3 Dandy Vandy disqualified from 2nd to 5th. Bringing prices from Laurel in a bit. But first, let's go back trackside, check in with Maggie.
We'll take a look here at one of the New York breds in this group, and that is number 3, El Grande O, who is coming off the back of a big win in here. Excuse me, as far as buyer speed figures are concerned, and he looks tremendous. Really getting a nice warm up by Jamie Rodriguez, who does climb aboard for the first time. I think he's a horse, too, that is best suited when he can lay up fairly close. So we see Jamie giving him, you know, that kind of that sharpening warm-up where they do figures of 8, and he looks as though he's kind of doing a serpentine out there, just kind of getting him on the bridle. And it's something that John Velasquez does. In fact, John Velasquez is doing it with the next horse that I'll talk about. But really, El Grande O makes an excellent impression on the racetrack. Over and Ollie is who the Hall of Famer is aboard today. And as Acacia pointed out, I mean, you isolate this horse's races with Lasix and they're completely different. Besides the one race where he parted ways with Joel Rosario, his 95 and 97 in those non-stakes races are pretty good and would probably win here. I was not thrilled with what I saw from him in the paddock. Just kind of the long, dull coat on him, and mentally just seemed a bit dull in the paddock. And also noticing that he does have somewhat vulnerable feet where it looks as though he is wearing glue-on shoes, but if they have bad feet, those are the best types of shoes for them. But when he came out on track, he became a completely different animal as Johnny really framed him up nicely. It was doing his figure of 8s in the chute, and the more he moved around, the better he moved overall. So a horse that I was not thrilled with in the paddock that completely did a 180 on me watching him warm up here, Acacia. And if he gets back to those 97 or 95 that he ran in Saratoga and last winter here at Aqueduct, then the rest of this field might be in trouble.
Yeah, he's got those races in there, Maggie. Let's see if he can show up with those efforts today. Over and Ollie, intriguing prospect. He does get back to his best distance. He gets Lasix, warming up well per Maggie. So some things to be positive about, just he is a little bit of a tricky horse to trust.
He is, but I think sprinting is what he wants to do ultimately, and we'll know pretty early in the race where he's placed if he's going to have a good day or not, because usually you can tell with him.
Yes, amen to that. How about the money that Little Knee is taking to 4? He was actually favored momentarily. He, as you said, disappointed last time out, but he was off slowly, which has been a habit of his.
Yeah.
And then I wish he'd finished 3rd in there. But as you said, Durante did come back to win the John A. Nehrude. It was his first start off of a layoff. Can he move forward 2nd off the bench?
If anybody can in this field, it's definitely this horse with that potential. If he can even get back to a shell of what those races were at Saratoga, it makes him competitive in here. And he's another horse who can lay closer than he has. The problem is he just hasn't been able to get out of the gate well, and that's put him behind the 8 ball, especially when you've got speeds that are just blazing out in front of him.
He's 5-1 now, drifting up a bit as we touched on. Getting out of the gate has been a little bit of his Achilles heel. El Grande 7-2. One of the New York bets Maggie talked about is he's taking a lot of attention. He did win last time out. He's been largely quite consistent, and he has some tactical speed.
He does, and I'm a big fan of his today, just a big fan of his in general, too. I mean, it wasn't Swaps Nashua last time. It wasn't like one of the greatest match races of all time, but we got a good finish, and he was able to get the job done in there. You know, his only bad races have been stakes races and when he was a non-starter or had some trouble at the start and got shut off. Otherwise, all his other races, even in these conditions, different levels, he's run exceptionally well. There's no reason why it won't set up for him today to be just off the pace to get first run. And even 2 starts back, people want to make an excuse for the State Florida Sandy. He was against the track that day as well and got wired by National Identity, who just happened to be closer to the rail than he was. So solid New York bred, always a fan of his, and I just think today might be his day against a group like this with some speed in front of him. We know he can run horses down late.
Raise the bar, now the favorite at 5-2. Wide open dirt sprint race. A lot of class in this field. This is a fun one coming up as Little Knee goes into the gate. We'll see if he can run back to some of those big races. Send it up to Chris Griffin for the call. Race 7, Belmont at the Big A.
Raise the bar. Two out. T-Crab. Tuscan Sky. All set. And they're off. T-Craft from the outside flashes early speed. Over and Ollie is in the early mix too. Just behind them, Raise the Bar. Having to steady was General Banker. Got caught up in traffic, is at the back end of the field. The leader, T-Craft. Junior Alvarado with a head advantage. Over and Ollie's going to hold that rail position, and John Velasquez, they push on through. Raise the Bar. Manny Franco right there in third, just stalking the top duo. El Grandeo is at the rail in fourth. Then behind them comes Little Knee. Towards the back end of the field, Tuscan Sky and General Banker, the 2 trailers. Less than 4 furlongs to go, 22.39 for that pressured opening quarter mile. T-Craft with the neck advantage. Over and Ollie not going away. Raise the Bar has been stalking the top 2, and here comes Raise the Bar after the leader, T-Craft. T-Craft starts to dispatch of Over and Ollie, who still battles on. 44-4 for the half-mile time. Raise the Bar towards the outside center portion of the racetrack and Raise the Bar, but T-Craft is game. T-Craft continues to keep striding away, and T-Craft holds the advantage. Over and Ollie is even battling back towards the inside. Raise the Bar could not find inside the final furlong. Tuscan Sky starts to roll from the back end of the field. A 16th left to go. T-Craft continues to just bowl right along. T-Craft wins it. Over and Ollie second, Tuscan Sky, and El Grandeo.
T-Craft with the win. When he broke sharply, it was kind of over from there.
It was, and they ran 1-2 around the track with Over and Ollie being aggressive too and being down inside. But nice effort. Congratulations, Lee Einseidler. Big day.
Yeah, big day. I'm told Lee's getting married this afternoon as well. So big congratulations to Lee and Amy. It's very exciting.
Gets the win and
yeah.
gets a new bride.
I know.
Bang up day.
I know. Big afternoon.
He's a good guy. He really is.
Yes, he is. Big congratulations to Lee. We look forward to seeing him, of course, in Saratoga. It's hard to miss those hot pink silks as well. And at the new Belmont, there's going to be a stakes race named the Casa Creed, which I think is really cool.
I think that's great.
Yeah, he's an awesome horse. T-Craft, though, took a big step forward, as did Over and Ollie. Much better performance from him today. But I think as soon as T-Craft got out of the gate, that's when we knew he was going to run this race.
That was, something impressive to watch him outrun some of the other speeds that were inside and just take no prisoners in this spot. So Junior Alvarado, back-to-back solid rides, getting the job done.
Both for Belmont as well. 7, 6, 8, 3. T-Craft at 5-1 with the win for Junior Alvarado in the saddle. Bring you prices and more when we come back. In that wide open race, you see those wide open prices for the 7th with T-Craft with the victory after that sharp break. Prices and more when we return on America's Day at the Races.
Gunrunner is the sire of 16 millionaires and 12 Grade 1 winners. Last year, he sired $17 million yearlings, including the Keeneland September sale topper. He was the sire of the $2.2 million Keeneland November weanling sale topper as well. Gunrunner was the co-leading sire of 2-year-old Grade 1 winners, including Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner Super Corridoro. Gunrunner, breed true.
Play the Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. New members get a $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. Bet the third leg of racing's Triple Crown from historic Saratoga Racecourse. Download the Naira Bets app now to play any track, anywhere, anytime. The official wagering partner of the Belmont Stakes is Naira Bets. Sign up now and use promo code BELMONT25 to claim your $25 free bet plus $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Prince of Monaco's Too Good for Moose, an impressive winner of the Best Pal. Miramardi's all hot, but Prince of Monaco Too Good.
Prince of Monaco, standing at Claiborne Farm.
New York breds. Race them.
Respect them.
Bet them.
Respect them.
Breed them.
Respect them.
Buy them.
Respect them.
Train them for a second career.
Respect them. Join us in respecting thoroughbreds at every stage of life. Learn more at nybreds.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
We're back on America's Day at the Races as this Winner Circle lead-in is brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton July Selected Horses of Racing Age sale July 14th in Lexington, Kentucky. Nominate your race horses today. T-Craft gets back to the Winner's Circle, goes back to the dirt, and on his preferred surface with a quick break. Very effective.
I've never been more happier to be wrong about a pick in my life than I am about T-Craft today. And speed was definitely the calling card and the hallmark of this race, because Junior Alvarado broke well, went right to the top. Over and Ollie came up the inside with Johnny Velasquez, and they went at it basically all the way around until T-Craft was able to inch away. Over and Ollie never gave up in the stretch. I thought they both ran well, and it was quite a ways back to the third place runner in there. And, well, we got an answer on Tuscan Sky. He's got up for third behind this pace, but there's no doubt about the first two runners.
Yeah, he came rolling late, just left with a bit too much to do, but 1282 T-Craft gets the victory, getting back onto the main track. 768 in the 7th. It was a fun race for sure. As we take a look at the field for race 8. Coming up next, a maiden claiming going 6 furlongs on the turf. Pretty wide open affair, as well as if the favorite is Felonious for Todd Pletcher to the outside, 5-2 right now. Did debut on the turf, but hasn't run on the grass since then.
Maybe Todd can do it again with a horse that doesn't quite 100% figure. We'll talk about this race as a whole in a little bit. I think it's wide open again.
Yeah, definitely is. Junior Alvarado with another chance. He will look to win 3 in a row. Well, a lot of historic events have taken place at Aqueduct, from the retirement of Secretariat, hosting the Breeders' Cup, and maybe it was the start of Cigar's legendary run right here at the Big A. But one historic event you may not know about is when the Pope gave Mass at the Big A.
As we celebrate the history of Aqueduct, there's one unforgettable moment that went beyond horse racing, where a global spiritual leader turned this racetrack into a sacred gathering place right here in the infield. On October 6, 1995, Pope John Paul held a massive open-air mass at Aqueduct Racetrack. It was part of his apostolic journey to the United States, a day that drew an estimated 75,000 people to the Big A. The sky was clear and bright. Sunshine broke through just as the Pope began his sermon, giving the event a nearly cinematic feel. From a 300-foot wide platform in the infield, the Pope delivered a homily centered on the progress of peoples.
Society must strongly reaffirm the right of the child to grow up in a family in which, as far as possible, both parents are present.
The crowd was diverse, not just Catholics, but representatives from different dioceses, civic leaders, and religious communities. Among them were local Knights of Columbus, dignitaries, and countless families who came together to witness something extraordinary on a day more often reserved for racing than worship. Pope John Paul II used this venue, Aqueduct Racetrack, to bring his message of hope, family, and unity for the barn areas, for the industry, for the country. That message still resounds within our hearts. For a moment in its storied career, Aqueduct became a pulpit for the world. The memory of that October day in 1995 stands as one of the most powerful and goes beyond just racing.
Pretty amazing what took place here at Aqueduct, and I learned today that my co-host was actually there.
I was, yes.
Wow.
I was a teenager. I was a high schooler of faith, and there was no bigger privilege or honor than to be able to volunteer, to be able to be here for Pope John Paul II's Mass. And I remember that day, you know, vividly, them taking us downstairs through where the hallways are and the jocks room is, coming out through the paddock, because the old paddock was underneath the building then. And we came out and we got our assignments. I remember being an usher actually on the second floor of the clubhouse.
Amazing.
And when we were finished, we were able to, there's the certificate right there, we were able to enjoy that Mass and able to see him as he came through and gave us a little pass-through afterwards. And it was just an honor and a privilege to truly be a part of it. And the one thing I remember, too, about it is he actually cracked a joke at the start of it, because the night before we had some pretty big storms that kind of rolled through around the area, and he made a joke saying, you know, yesterday big storm, today big wind, and he got the crowd going with that. And it was just a really great experience to be there and experience it with 75,000 people. You know, that may have been the first time that I actually came to Aqueduct. So I think that was the first time I came, and then after that, I started coming for racing, and there was an end to a means to that, and a different story for a different day.
It all went downhill from there.
Well, I guess, depending on how you look at it, right? It all goes in waves, right? Everything's a wave. It's how you ride the waves. But no bigger honor or privilege to be a part of history here.
Just amazing. That is a really incredible experience, and thank you very much for sharing that. As we said, it's one of the coolest things about the history of Aqueduct that the Pope gave a Mass here, and Paul Verderosa, our own, was an usher for that very special day. As closing weekend at Aqueduct, it'll be a bittersweet one for sure, but we have some big celebrations to look forward to.
The rum tasting might be right up there. I think some of us will try and get up there for that, for sure.
That'll be a lot of fun. Caribbean-themed party taking place, and of course, June 28th, the actual final day, the first 1,000 fans to get a jar of the track surface, celebrating a piece of Aqueduct that you're able to take home. So that brings us to a question. When did you know you wanted to be involved in racing? Was there something that really piqued your interest?
So obviously I was here for the Mass in 1995, but it wasn't really getting the racing bug until I came back around 1996, 97. But in 1998, a horse named Kelly Kipp changed my thoughts on racing. And I was right down there, and you see those hobo colors on and the chief training. When he set the track record in 107 and 2 in this bold ruler, I was standing by the finish line, because you could when the track was built differently. And the way he ran by me, I had never in my life had a horse run by me that fast. It was like the wind went by you. And I said, wow, if he could do that, I love this. He came back the next year. He broke his own track record against a horse in Artax, who was a great horse. And For me, it was Kelly Kip. It was the fastest horse that I had ever seen at the time and the fastest horse that ever ran by me in the stretch. And when he could beat horses like, say, Florida Sandy and Johnny Legit and horses like that were hard-knocking horses, man, that just sold me. And I love the sprinters. A sprint race for me was great because I was impatient and I couldn't wait for the races. And those mile and eighth races, you could have kept them. I just wanted 6 furlongs. Go fast, go hard, and, have fun like that. So Kelly Kip for me and the Chief were 2 big influences for sure.
I love it. An amazing talent, that's for sure. Maggie, we bring you into this conversation, pose the same question for you. I know you grew up in racing, but what was the horse that made you know you really wanted to be involved in this sport?
Well, I actually got to see Kelly Kip run at Laurel, so Paul, very good choice. But for me, as you said, Acacia, growing up in the sport, it was really more of a hands-on and kind of personal connection that I formed with a horse that was trained by my father by the name Colonel Hill. I fell in love with him. I mean, he was one of the best looking horses still to this day I've ever laid my eyes on. And my dad actually won a stake with him first time out. Now that picture is actually when my dad went back on a hunt for Colonel. He was taken away and given to a trainer up here in New York after those 2 stakes victories as a juvenile. And he made his way back to the Mid-Atlantic Circuit, and every single time he was in for a claiming tag, my dad would claim him back. And if there was ever a pimple on Colonel, he would turn him out. And just the love, passion, and patience that he showed for Colonel really inspired me just to make sure that I, surrounded myself with horses and that my life was devoted to them. And as you saw as well, Colonel became my off-track thoroughbred and led another inspiration to Acacia for me to also really, promote how wonderful thoroughbreds are, especially in their second careers, which Colonel proved time and time again as a dressage horse.
Couldn't agree more. I love that story. And there are certain horses that just really touch your heart and leave a lasting impact on you. For me, I've been doing this now, I guess, 11 years, but I'm probably still kind of the new kid on the block in our team as far as being involved in racing. But I really started paying attention to the sport around 2010, 2011. I came in from a similar kind of story as Maggie with a love for the horse. I started my aftercare organization Racing for Home that year, and then the 2011 Preakness took place in this big white face and a horse named Shackleford. He was really impressive in this, and for whatever reason, he was a horse that my parents and I just loved watching. Every time he was running in a race, and I was looking back at his past performances this morning, and I said, I always remember that Preakness and the way that he fought, but he was a really good horse as well. He showed up every time for Dale Romans and became a sire after that as well. But I feel like it was following, in particular, that Preakness. And I was like, this would be a really cool sport to be involved in.
We all started as fans, and there's always that one moment or that one time that's going to make you fall in love. And I love hearing these stories. I really do, because it's important.
Me too. I completely agree. I know everybody has a story as well, whether it's a horse you saw live or one you watched on TV. But all very happy that we get to be here and be celebrating this wonderful sport. We have another live race coming up for you from Belmont at the Big Egg after this.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races with live coverage here from Belmont at the Big A, and we're proudly brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime, as horses are just about set and ready to hit the racetrack for tonight's nightcap, which is a maiden claimer, 55,000, going the 6 furlongs on the turf, and we'll see if Belmont can get his third win of today, as he will send out the drop down with Godolphin in number 7, Thunder Roll. And this guy has only tried sprinting on the turf one time. That did come in a very disappointing effort. When you look at it on paper, it was going 5/8, in which he actually broke on top. So wondering if getting back to the turf, we could see him, spring out of there and show a little bit more speed. Is fairly sharp in here. It is getting a little bit warm, which, as I always say, I wonder if they kind of need a start if they're coming back off of a layoff. But in that race, as he went into the turn, well, he couldn't quite maintain that forward advantage, got shuffled back a little bit, and then he was between horses, and he must have tripped or clipped heels, and Luis Saez just kind of protected him from there on out. So if that didn't happen, I wonder where he would have finished. And furthermore, I feel like the 6 furlongs is a little bit more within his wheelhouse as opposed to the flat 5. So looking at him here, like I said, a little hot, but does appear fit and tucked up, and does look incredibly well turned out from that, coat and health perspective. And I think he looks more like a turf horse. So I'm excited to see him getting back to the surface at this distance. Now, the horse who did grab my attention the most is actually a turnback. And yeah, he doesn't look that appealing on paper, it must be said. But number 5, Traverse City, is a little unexposed. He's only run 2 times, and only one of which was on the turf, and that was going 1 1/16 at Churchill Downs. Now, it wasn't listed on the form, but if you looked at the changes, he is a first-time gelding too. I really like the turn back for this horse. He's built so much more like a sprinter. He's compact, he's built downhill, those elevated hindquarters, and he just seems to be striding out incredibly well here in the paddock. So I think he deserves a look, and hopefully will offer a bit of value on the board, Acacia.
He's a nice price at 7 to 1. Maggie, thank you. As Ricardo Santana gets a leg up on Traverse City. Cut back in distance, new gelding. Maybe those things will help him to turn things around.
Ran into a Joe Sharp class drop or 2 last time, and he was forward, not too far out of it early on in those races, so maybe the turn back will certainly help him.
Yeah, at least he showed some speed in his most recent start when going long. Interesting prospect cutting back in distance. Let's meet the rest of the field, though, beginning with the 1 Levi Warrior, first time on grass.
This is an interesting prospect dropping in class here, and you take a look at the sibling one on grass, and the second dam was on turf. So I think you could do worse than finding a 12 to 1 shot near dropping in class with Johnny Velasquez up.
It does have a little bit of pedigree for it. There is Urgency. Dropping class for Mark Cassie.
Just not sure what this horse is yet. It's kind of run 3 of the same races, going that mile distance. Maybe the 6 furlongs will help. I'm not sure, but the figures at least went up in every turf race.
Nod to Tran, second off the layoff, and the blinkers coming off today.
Yeah, big price in all of those starts. Going to have to turn it around here, I think, to make a solid impact.
There is, 2 Ducks finished 3rd last time out.
Just couldn't get the job done last time. I'm hoping for a little bit better timing on this horse. We'll find out today if this horse can sustain to win.
There's Traverse City, who Maggie was talking about has some upside.
And at least has started only 2 times, so at least has some upside, you would think, with only those 2 starts. And now sprinting first time on the grass as well.
Still lightly raced. There is Always Packin', big price getting onto the turf for the first time.
Yeah, not much to go on. The second dam was 0 for 11 on turf, but had some sprint races that were okay, I guess. But that's going to be a big price.
Handled it, though, didn't win, I agree. But yeah, this one was running already for maiden 20 on the dirt. There's Thunder Roll, Belmont, and Junior Alvarado. They're on a roll.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the barn's going hot, the rider's going hot. Why not take a shot at a horse on a drop down in here? Belmont doesn't have the best numbers when it comes to dropping horses on the grass, but this horse did run okay. Just got taken out of that sprint race.
Oligarch really improved getting back on turf last time.
Did, but I just worry that last time was the time, even with that little bit of trouble, and now you're getting 5 to 1.
Does pick up Javier Castellano. There is Felonious, still the favorite.
Yeah, that debut race, they ran 1, 2, 3 around the turf course. It was a slower paced race, too, in there. Maybe this horse getting back, dropping in class, might show a little something from the outside post, maybe a little speed in here as well. We'll find out. I just wonder how good that debut race was. And Todd went right to the dirt with this horse, which I understand giving this horse a chance on the dirt, but now gets right back on the grass and drops in class. So kind of some mixed signals here.
You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Sign up and get a free $25 bet and up to $200 deposit match bonus with promo code Belmont25. Enjoy betting on over 300 tracks around the world and start winning today. Join now at NairaBets.com. 3-2. Wow, short price now on Felonious. You do have the drop down, and you have Flavian Pratt
That's
as
the other
the
thing
angle
as well.
Let's take a look at the replay, though, of Oligarch and Two Ducks as they come out of that May 1st race last time out. Oligarch finishing second off of a layoff and getting back to the turf with a good effort. As you said, though, last time might have been the time despite having to wait for room.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a check, but this horse had a good spot anyway going around there inside and then just needed the room. Found the room, ended up running second. I'm not sure it cost the race ultimately for him. We could debate on that, but he was a big price then. He's not going to be that big of a price today. The rider switch to Javier Castellano also probably sucked up a little bit of that money as well. Two Ducks for me was in a good enough spot. Went up in between horses, just didn't kick on to win. Now maybe it was the first time being back on grass, just didn't have that kick and to get the job done. I'm hoping today for a little bit more kick out of this horse. What I liked about Two Ducks was Two Ducks improved in every turf start that he has been on, so maybe there's one more step forward today for this horse. And I'd rather take 6-1 over 5-1.
Horse is warming up on track. Let's go back to Maggie.
I don't get it, but I'll probably be proven wrong of why Felonious is such a short price in here. Now, you know, just on basics, he looks fine. He's fit. Good, looks good, warming up overall. But you know, he hasn't really grown much. And I remember, you know, looking back at my notes. In fact, I don't remember anything anymore. I had to look at my notes. But the only other time I've seen this horse is in that debut, and it always feels like when Todd goes to a turf sprint with one first time out, especially as a 2-year-old, it means he doesn't like them much. And he was favored that day, and as Paul said, 1, 2, 3 around the racetrack and beaten 5 1/4 lengths. Let's face it, that's more like, you know, 8 to 10 lengths when you're talking about dirt racing, the equivalent to. He just really hasn't changed much from 2 to 3. I thought he looked small against that field that day, and he looks the same here. So at 3-2, I'd rather take a shot with somebody else, and I am going to take a shot with the Florida bred for trainer Mark Cassie, who has actually never sprinted on the turf, but he is a bit of a smaller type, not a slighter frame, just smaller, just handier, kind of typier, and boy, he's been sharp throughout the prelims, so I love that. I love seeing that. I know sometimes these don't work out, especially with a horse that, you know, at least on paper, and at least of his last few races, doesn't appear to have that much speed going longer. But his last race on the turf wasn't that bad, and before that he was beaten by several next time out winners. I don't love the fact that he never went by the horse that he was chasing in that turf race, and then he was passed from behind. So I didn't love that, but I do think cutting him back makes a lot of sense here. So I'm hoping that Manny Franco can get him engaged and get him forward here overall. So I think there's more going on than just taking 7-5 on Felonious, Acacia.
Yeah, this looks to be a pretty interesting race. Maggie, thank you. Urgency. As she said, it's actually the first time for this horse sprinting on turf. He sprinted on Tapeta and on the dirt before, so maybe this will help him. He was running against much tougher last time out.
Yeah, he was. He had potential to win those other 2 turf races, and then when he got into trouble on January 2nd, I mean, Immortalized came back, won a stakes, running on time won. So for me, I just felt like he's run 3 of the same races, so I'm not exactly sure what he is. The figures have gone up. As Maggie alluded to, he's very handy. You can probably put him anywhere. He draws well in this spot, too, to see what's going on in front of him. I just wonder where he's going to be early on in here, and just how much ground he's going to have to make up.
This is his race 2 starts back, where he finished 3rd, beaten by 3/4 of a length on the turf at Gulfstream. Looked like he was going to finish 2nd, and he got run down. So maybe he is a horse that just will appreciate getting less distance, but he was finishing, and he was right there at the end of that race, and he's a generous price at 5-1, 6-5 on Felonious. Look, maybe it is going to be a natural progression from 2 to 3 and an improvement, but I thought he was really going to have to improve getting on the turf today to beat some of the other contenders.
Against this group, yes. And considering his 2 races after the turf race, they weren't terrible races on the dirt. You got beat.
They were his best races.
They were his best races by far. So now you're going to cut him back and drop him. This move kind of smells for Todd, but it's Flavien Prat. They were going to take money. He draws outside, and these are the kind of races that you shake your head after and just say, well, Flavien wins these races, and so does Todd. So, you know, I don't know what to do with him, but I just think there was more juicier, pricier alternatives that you could find in here to at least take a shot at. If you lose to an even money shot, then whatever, you just lost. But
yeah.
I mean, I thought there was better ways to go.
Paul and Maggie both taking a shot against the favorite, even money on Felonious to the outside. We'll find out how it plays out in race 8. Send it up to Chris Griffin for the call of the night. Belmont at Big A.
Favored Felonious to the outside. All set. And they're off. Oligarch with the early speed. Thunder Roll is in the early mix too. Down at the rail, that's Urgency. In between horses, 2 Ducks. And on the far outside, Felonious joins that early mix. At the rail, it's now Urgency and Nod to Trans in that scrum too. But now here comes Oligarch to emerge and has a neck advantage. Back there in second is Urgency. Just had to tap on the brakes. Is now back to third. Felonious passes on the outside of the 2-path. Getting caught in the shuffle there was Nod to Tran. Got passed to the outside for 4th by 2 Ducks, who's on the move. Thunder Roll is in the 6th position. Also having to steady towards the back end was Always Packin' at the rail. Levi Warrior and the trailer. Far, far back. Traverse City. 22-4 for that opening quarter mile. It's Oligarch alone, and Oligarch starts the sprint for home. Reaches the top of the lane. Felonious is chasing from second. Oligarch has not stopped yet, and Oligarch is up by a length and a half. Here comes Felonious, now in sights, and Felonious starts to move up on the outside of Oligarch, who's still there. Also trying to run on his 2 Ducks, the rest with too much running to do. Felonious now puts a neck in front, and Felonious will stride away. Oligarch battles on, but Felonious too good. Felonious will win it. Oligarch, 2 Ducks, and Traverse City.
Well, we said that sometimes you're just going to turn back around and look and say, well, it was Flavien Prat and Todd, and should have just trusted that.
It's that simple. Spend 5-6 minutes talking about everything else. And it's just Flavien again winning a race. No big deal. Just sit right outside the leaves. Just go by.
Felonious, though, he was perfectly positioned.
Yeah.
And just, you know, something we often talk about with Flavien Prat and where he puts horses for them to have their best chance. And that's exactly what he did with this horse. Sat just off the pace that was set by Oligarch.
Oligarch ran well. You know, it surprised me. Ran well. Got out to the lead. Javier Castellano took the initiative, took the lead, and just got a little short late to a Todd Pletcher horse in here. The rest were just, although I gotta say Traverse City broke slow, so there I would give Traverse City a little pass and a little look next time. My pick 2 Ducks just can't run. Just run second and third underneath.
2 and 9 claimed out of this race. So Felonious a win and claimed. I'm sure best case scenario.
Yeah.
For Todd Pletcher with the drop in
Yes, I would think so.
today.
Yeah, gets the win and gets the drop in class.
Yeah.
I don't think they're losing much sleep over losing Felonious.
Yeah,
honestly,
we'll see where he ends up, what happens to him moving forward. But was claimed out of this race after getting the win. Felonious with the victory, well positioned by Flavien Prat at even money and gets the win, breaks his maiden at the age of 3 here as it was 9-8-4-5. The pace setting Oligarch checking in and holding on for second. When we come back, we'll preview what's to come and some exciting announcements, including purse increases for the new Belmont Park. So much to look forward to at our new home as it gets closer and closer.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one, this time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. Running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class, on the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff. Aim high. Breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
The Belmont Stakes Racing Festival returns for the final time to historic Saratoga Racecourse. Don't miss the Belmont Festival at Saratoga. June 3rd through 7th. Secure your place in history at BelmontStakes.com.
Standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds, top young stallion Solomini, a Grade 1 son of Curlin and sire of 2026 graded placed New York Stakes winner National Identity.
Inside the final furlong, National Identity. Acoustic Ave is making up some ground. National Identity is almost home. Acoustic Ave second. National Identity wins the Safe Florida Ascendee.
Solomini, standing for $7,500 in 2026 at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds.
And it's lights out. Locked. Pouring it on. Running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked. Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward. It is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
The new Belmont Park coming fall 2026, September 18th, the official opening day. We'll have the Jockey Club Gold Cup taking place that day, and just cannot wait to be back at our new home of Belmont Park and the new facility, new racetrack surfaces, so many amazing things to look forward to.
It's going to be fun to be part of a grand opening and usher in a new era of history here for New York racing, and cannot wait to see it, cannot wait to be a part of it, so it should be fun.
Yes, it definitely will be. And some other things to look forward to. Belmont Park fall purse increases as well. An increase for in particular, the maiden special weight and allowance races, an increase of 15% starting in September. This is a really big deal for owners, for horsemen to have these opportunities and to be running for more money in these types of races.
Certainly makes the racing here worthwhile, and it gives you a reason to to race here. There's no excuses now. Everybody out there listening. So, and it's always important at the end of the day to support your brand, support the racing that goes on, and also it benefits also the state bred program as well too. You know, if you can get involved in that and get yourself a state bred and race for that kind of money, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. So hopefully we will make things a lot more competitive and we will have a lot more action out there on the racetrack, and that's what it's all about for it.
You're going to have those spectacular Belmont Park turf courses available. I know a lot of horsemen, my husband included, very excited about the 7 furlong turf
it's going to be 7 furlong
races.
And also opening day too. Don't forget too, 50% purse increase for that day specifically alone. So 50% more on those purses on opening day. So get your stuff together. I was ready to say get your S ready, and I thank God I did not. But get your stuff together and get your horses ready for opening day, because it could be very lucrative for you and get involved.
It definitely will be. But of course, first we have the Belmont Stakes for the final time at Saratoga. Be sure to get your tickets. Come and join us for the third and final jewel of the Triple Crown. Here's a list of probable starters. The post position draw will take place on Monday, June 1st. We'll get a chance to see who lines up in the field. We'll learn a lot over the next week, of course, but plenty of horses have already shipped into Saratoga. And one horse, though, that's still in Kentucky is Kentucky Derby winner Golden Tempo. Made that last move into the pace that was falling apart. Was supposed to work at Keeneland this morning, did not because of weather. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I imagine after his final work, we'll ship up to Saratoga for Cherie DeVaux, and we'll get a chance to see him and Renegade rematch, top 2 finishers from the Derby.
Yeah, it was another one of those things where I think Arad looked over his shoulder and was like, I'm just about to pass everybody. Who's about to pass me? Looks over and sees Golden Tempo and his brother go right on by. So pace worked out, field got strung out, and we knew going into that race, and I had said it, that if there is enough speed to string this field out, the one closer that you know was going to close was Golden Tempo, because he's done it before. So he was able to parlay that into a Kentucky Derby win, and we'll see what kind of pace setup he's going to get at Saratoga, but coming in fresh always helps, and why not? Right? It'd be good to see the Derby winner there, and that's what you want to see. You want to see these horses racing and competing. So why not go out there and give this a shot and try and get yourself a Belmont, too? On top of that, 1.25 miles should be fine, no problem there.
Yeah, he's always going to be the Derby winner. You always want to see the Derby winner in these big 3-year-old races. I agree. It adds another layer to it all. But a horse that won the local prep for the Belmont Stakes and the Peter Pan is Growth Equity. Still very lightly raced for Chad Brown. And speaking to Chad, right after the race, he was a little bit hesitant as to whether the 1.25 miles, despite the fact that this horse had just won at 1 1/8, if longer distances would necessarily be better for him. I know he's still a probable, but looking like he might actually end up running in this year's Belmont Stakes. But he has stepped forward, and despite not looking like kind of a big imposing distance type of horse, he extends that stride and has been able to handle everything.
That's what I love about him watching the end of this race. There was no shortening of his stride there. There was no plodding to get to the line. He kept on striding and did enough to hold off the second place finisher that he went on by, obviously, before that. Didn't give it up in the stretch. Chad's been a little coy this year with some of his horses, if you noticed. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll give it a shot. Believe me, this horse can figure at 1.25 miles with the right trip. Hell, they all can, at 1.25 miles with the trip. But what I liked about him was he did not shorten his stride. He did not plod late. That bodes well for a horse going longer in that spot. And again, I think it's all a question of getting them there and then seeing where you line up in the gate. And I think that that's going to be important for him.
Here's a list of recent horses that have won the Peter Pan Belmont Double. Happened just a few years ago with Arcangelo. It has been a fruitful prep race.
Yeah, it has. And you look at some of the names on there, and AP Indy, Tonalist, Arcangelo, big names, that have done big things and have gone on to pull off that double. So these preps, they work and they're good, for some horses, especially when they try to avoid, going to the Preakness or want to space out their races, especially when we move things around. And
made her a later developing type of horse
that's what
as
you
well.
have to say,
Yeah. So we'll see what the Peter Pan winner Growth Equity can do moving forward, potentially on to the Belmont Stakes. In the nightcap, though, Belmont at the Big A, the number 9 Felonious, Todd Pletcher and Flavian Pratt got the job done, getting the victory, getting back on turf, won and was claimed. Moving on to New Barn after this.
It was that simple, right? Just having Flavian up, just switching back to the turf. Todd dropping in class, outside draw, was able to sit off the leader and go on by at the end of the day.
4:28 to wrap up the day. Even Money Shot gets the win in the nightcap. Pick 6 with a handsome return, 5,400 or so. Hope you had it. Congratulations if you did. Wrapping up with a short price there, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'm a little bit messed up because it's a weird schedule this weekend. We started our racing week on Friday. We are running Monday with Memorial Day, and tomorrow we have the Paradise Creek to look forward to. Hopefully, weather will be nice to us.
We've been dancing around this weather for like the last week or two. Anytime that we have had rain in the forecast, we have been able to dodge it or be on the turf the next day. So let's keep it going.
We will hope, that's for sure. Saw some nice performances today. Scythian got back to the winner's circle. First time since her 2-year-old season. She was well placed and got the victory today. And T-Craft, part of a spectacular afternoon for Belmont and Junior Alvarado. They had back-to-back wins together. We'll be back tomorrow on Saturday beginning at 12:30 p.m. on FS1.
Gratefully and Saratoga Special, nose and nose for the wire. Gratefully Saratoga Special, gratefully would not be denied.
Welcome to Adelphi Racing Club's unparalleled partnership experience. Exclusive access to the backstretch at Belmont and Saratoga, premier accommodations on race day, and of course, experience excitement like no other. Contact us today to get a taste of the Adelphi difference.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America'sBestRacing.net is a sport for you.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.